From Terwilliger Brothers Field at Max Bishop campus of the United States Naval Academy, it's the Patriot League Baseball Championships featuring the top seed, the Navy Midshipmen, and the number 2 seed, the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh. With Kevin Wilson, I'm Mike Farron. And Kevin, the story for Navy this weekend is they will be without their ace, Luke Gillingham, a semifinalist for the Dick Hauser Award, and the Golden Spikes watch list lasted just 3 1/3 innings before having to leave his start against Lafayette last weekend with a shoulder injury.
Yeah, obviously a huge blow to Navy, but you know what? Stephen Moore and George Coughlin stepped up for Navy last weekend, throwing 19 scoreless innings. That was huge for them. They needed that pickup, and they got exactly that. I don't think you can do much better than that.
Yeah, and despite losing the game that Gillingham started, they still won the series from Lafayette, and it's Moore who will get the start in Game 1. On the flip side, it's about offense with Lehigh. 7 home runs for them in their semifinal victory over Holy Cross. They hit 3.5 times as many home runs this season as Navy did.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, these guys are able to backspin the baseball. Lehigh has tremendous top of the order. You're talking about Garzillo, Justin Pacioli, a great combination of speed and power at the top of that lineup.
Mike Garzillo with a pair of home runs. He has 10 on the year. That's as many as the Navy team has overall. They can run, they can hit, and Navy can really pitch. It's going to be a great matchup today. The winner of this best-of-3 series goes to the NCAA Regionals. It's the championship of the Patriot League, Lehigh and Navy, coming up next on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Back at Terwilliger Brothers Field at Max Bishop Stadium, the championship of the Patriot League. The coaches meeting at home plate with the umpires. Sean Leary, the head coach of Lehigh, and Paul Kostakopoulos, head coach of the Naval Academy, going over the grounds rules with the officials. Now, again, the winner of this best of go to the NCAA tournament. It's been a long drought for Lehigh. In fact, they've only made one appearance in their history, 2006. Sean Leary led them there. For Paul Kostakopoulos, it's been 2011 that Navy's been able to get there, although both of these programs have been on the rise over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. Ask for a better day today for these two teams to match up. Obviously we talked about before, we touched upon Lehigh's offense and Navy's pitching staff and what they've done to do. I think these guys, as you look at it overall, pitching matchups versus the hitting matchups, I think it's going to be a pretty even game. I don't expect any blowouts here. I think it's going to be a very well-played game as far as understanding what they need to do.
All right, let's take a look at the lineups for the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh. Leading off is first-team center fielder Justin Pacioli. Mike Garzillo's the big power hitter, number 3 in the lineup. The second baseman, 10 home runs on the year, including a pair, as we mentioned earlier, against Lafayette last weekend. Pat Donnelly, the sophomore first-team third baseman, will hit in the cleanup spot. Patrick Walsh had a pair of homers last weekend in Game 1 against Lafayette as well. And you see James Blemming, not your typical leadoff hitter, off to a slow start this year, but the freshman's come on of late. 4 of 10 with a home run in the semifinals against Lafayette, and it was a long homer. We mentioned before, the power is the big key for Lehigh and their offense. It's a rare combination of power that you see in the Patriot League.
No doubt, Mike, and it's top to bottom. You don't know where you're going to get your next run from, and they have the ability to, with one swing of the bat, change the scoreboard.
They will face the right-hander for the Naval Academy, Stephen Moore. We'll talk about him in just a little bit, as again, the big news for the Naval Academy, Luke Gillingham, one of the top pitchers in the country, is out, as the midshipmen of the Naval Academy take the field. And Stephen Moore, the right-hander, gets ready to warm up here on this beautiful 72-degree day in Annapolis, Maryland. A big weekend here with the Preakness just up the road outside in Baltimore. And also tomorrow, the semifinals of the men's lacrosse championship will be right here on the Naval Academy campus. So this kicks off a very big weekend of sports in the Baltimore, D.C. area. You see Stephen Moore with his warm-up tosses here. The right-hander had a very good season. He was their Game 2 starter, 7 shutout innings against Lafayette, 7 wins during the regular year. What stands out to me, Kevin, is just 85 base runners and 80 innings of work.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he pounds the strike zone. He challenges hitters. Coach mentioned when we were talking to him yesterday, that's what he wants to do. He wants to get after hitters, allow his defense to play behind him. And you know what? You need a strike thrower in this league because, the offense we mentioned before, even if you can get the ball out of the yard, overall this league is you put it in play, you're going to be able to make good things happen as a team.
He'll throw a 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, a changeup, a slider, and he will try his best to keep this Lehigh offense off balance. But one of the advantages he has is he's tough on right-handed hitters. He throws a little bit across his body. It can be very difficult to pick up. There are no lefties in this lineup for Lehigh. It's an all right-handed hitting lineup.
Yeah, he reminds me a little of Jake Arrieta of the Chicago Cubs. A little cross-the-body guy, a little slider. He can spin it a little bit, as you mentioned. That gives guys it's a little swing and miss in him, too. That also helps when you get guys on base to have some pitches there. You can get the swing and miss.
Adrian Chinnery, the catcher for Navy, pats his starter on the chest, and we are ready to go. The umpires today, Tim Detweiler behind the plate, Tim Lombardo at first, Keith Seghetti at second, Ricky Cacciatore will make the impartial judgments at third, and we are ready to go for first pitch of the Patriot League Baseball Championships as Justin Pacioli, the first team Patriot League center fielder, stands in for Lehigh. Hitting .364 on the season. Speedy right-handed hitter takes ball one outside, and we are underway here in Annapolis. Pacioli, 4 for 10 in the semis against Lehigh with 3 stolen bases. Takes a strike on the outside of just 2 to have reached base safely in every game they've played this. The 1-1 misses upstairs, and it is 2 balls and a strike now to Pacioli. Fielder Knowles at third, playing even with the bag. The 2-1 swing and a foul off to the right and out of play. The defense for Navy, Sean Trent is in left, Robert Curry is in center, Connor Deneen in right. Logan Knowles, a freshman at shortstop. Brad Borasek at half is at first. You see Pacioli and where he ranks in batting average in the league, and he loops on to right. Nice sliding grab there by Connor Deneen. Good jump by the right fielder.
Tremendous jump, and he came in on that ball. He stood on his feet as long as he could, and those are the type of tough baseballs that, as an outfielder from the opposite field, he made a tremendous grab.
One away for Jason Nelesnik. We'll finish the defense for Navy. Ben McGrath is at first, and Adrian Chinnery, the sophomore catcher, behind the plate. Here's Nelesnik, who's come on of late, hitting .324. It's this one back through the middle. To his right is Borasek. He straightens up and fires a strike to first. He had to hurry. Nelesnik, for a 240-pound guy, runs very well, and there's 2 outs.
Yeah, I think at the last minute there, he realized that he had to hurry up, but he has that strong arm that we mentioned before, and he was able to get the job done.
And you see Moore beginning to pound the strike zone here. That's going to be the key for him, and it's going to be the key against Mike Garzillo, the first-team junior second baseman. .356 on the year with 10 home runs and a .620 slugging percentage. He has real power. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Yesterday they were doing a little live infield batting practice drill, and Garzillo all way out to left field. Takes a breaking ball strike. It's 0-2. It's not an easy park to hit home runs in, but Garzillo made it look small. The 0-2 swings and foul tip just did get a piece of that one. Stay alive, 0-2.
Yeah, that was impressive yesterday. He got that ball up in the air, and he went off the second fence behind left field.
Garzillo leading the team and the league in home runs this year. Patrick Walsh had 2 homers last weekend, second. Pitch hit down the left field line. That's going to be extra bases as it will one-hop against the fence. Trent played it cleanly. He will not have a play at second, though, as Garzillo goes in standing. It's a 2-out double.
See, Mike, that's the thing when you have a pitcher on the mound and you go back-to-back with off speed. You know, he started him out fastball, and then gets a get-me-over breaking ball, and then comes back with another off-speed pitch. As a hitter, you're already on that off-speed time. So right there, he may have been able to use a fastball inside and maybe get him jammed a little bit, but Garzillo did a great job.
Kept his hands back just long enough to loop it down the left field line. No score, top of the first. Here's Patrick Donnelly, the sophomore third baseman. He was a first-team All-Patriot League selection. Fouls it off down the right field line. Deneen giving chase. That one is out of play. Deneen plays the game very hard. He went sliding into the brick wall down the right field line last weekend after a foul ball. There's not a whole lot of quit in the Naval Academy players. I'm sure that comes as a surprise to everyone.
Absolutely. There's one speed here for sure.
Quick conference on the mound as Chinnery goes to talk to Moore. Donnelly last year was really the best offensive player for Lehigh in the postseason. As a freshman, was 7 for 17 as Lehigh made it to the finals against Bucknell before being swept. He was 5 for 12 last weekend against Lafayette. Takes a breaking ball outside. It is 1-1. Boy, Moore will he constantly changing speeds, breaking ball after breaking ball changeup. You can really see how he just is trying to pitch. Works from the first base side of the rubber. 1. There's a fastball just off the plate, 2-1.
That's the thing, as a hitter too, when you have runners in scoring position, you probably have a chance to be able to sit soft. You know, there's the ERA at second base. He's worried about that. He's not going to groove you a fastball per se down the middle.
Garzillo with the lead from second, and the pitch hit in the air, right center field. Curry got a good jump on it. The center fielder over. He will make the catch, and the inning is over. 2-out double for Garzillo, but Lehigh fails to score. We head to the bottom of the first. It's Lehigh 0, Navy coming to bat on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Lehigh fails to score in the top of the first. Here's the lineup for the midshipmen of Navy. Robert Curry will lead off, the center fielder. Batting second is Brad Borasek, the second baseman. Sean Trent, the conference player of the year. We'll talk plenty about him. He hits in the third spot. Little change to the lineup as freshman Stephen Bourne will move into the cleanup spot. Connor Deneen, who had a big series last week against Lafayette, hits fifth. Adrian Chinnery, the catcher, sixth. Ben McGrath drove in 9 runs against Lafayette, hits in the seventh spot. See sophomore Travis Blue hitting ninth against the right-hander Kevin Long for the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh. He's been their ace this season, although he missed about a month of time with tendonitis. This will be just his 10th appearance. He has an ERA of 6, and the first pitch from the right-hander is a fastball away. It's 1-0. Long can bump it up into the low 90s with his fastball. He has a very good slider. Works from the third base side of the rubber. The righty deals, and the 1-0 to Curry. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
Yeah, that's his pitch, that slider. Being able to spin something and miss some bats here, and that's what's going to give Navy some fits early on, maybe.
Walked a couple of guys to start that game last week against Holy Cross. It's a slider, misses away. It's 2-1. Curry, the leadoff man, a .404 on base percentage, had a great series last weekend against Lafayette. 7 for 14, 3 stolen bases. He can run. Fastball misses away in the count. Now 3 balls and a strike to the leadoff man. You can already hear the cheering coming from the Navy bench. They are relentless in their energy. The 3-1. Ball 4, and so a leadoff walk here, and that becomes very dangerous for Long. Curry last year led the Patriot League in stolen bases. This year, hamstring injury slowed him, but he's still 13 of 16 coming into today.
Yeah, anytime you get the leadoff guy on base and get a guy out of the stretch, that's just going to be out of their habit and get them out of their routine and their feel and their tempo. So this is good for Navy so far.
Here's Brad Borasek, who runs very well. Third baseman Donnelly playing in. So there's a throw over to first, and Long throws it away. Curry will hustle to second and stop there as the second baseman Garzillo tracks it down. Long's throw to first. One opt against that brick retaining wall down the right field line and carry him back to the field of play. Lehigh may have gotten a break. If that thing hugs the wall at all, Curry's at third easily.
Absolutely. In any game, especially the championship game and championship series, you cannot give away outs. You cannot advance base runners by doing something like that. And obviously they know that, but right here, Kevin Long has to be able to clean this up for himself and get himself out of this inning.
Long takes a deep breath as he will face Borasek. Borasek, an excellent bunter. He is very fast as well. He squares and takes down low for a ball.
Yeah, before the game, Navy has a little bunting station behind the cage, and they set up the machine facing the back of the backstop, and they work relentlessly on their bunting down the first base and the third base side. So it's definitely well practiced. 6
sacrifice hits on the year for the number 2 hitter in the Navy lineup. Pitch down and in, and the count 2-0. Long really struggling to find the zone here, and veteran catcher Tim McKay will go out to talk to him.
Yeah, a great opportunity for McKay to go out there, settle him down, whatever he's telling him, hopefully just to kind of get the heartbeat to slow down a little bit, get his tempo, get his pace. Like I mentioned before, when you get runners on base, you feel sometimes like you have to rush through some things, and you absolutely don't have to. So great job on McKay going out there.
And you saw Long take a deep breath out there. This is an experienced Lehigh team. And 6 of the players in this starting lineup started the game games against Bucknell last year. And Long threw 6 innings in relief in game 1 when starter Colin Godson went out with an injury. He's behind here 2-0. Let's see if Borasek is bunting. He's not. Takes a strike.
Yeah, that 2-0 count, that's a hitter's count. If you get something in your zone, be ready to go. And as you're probably looking for something on the inside, I think he missed an opportunity there.
Sets and delivers again and misses low, and the count now 3-1. Well, you got to balance that too. Again, guy, he's been wild to start. Watch the first hitter of the game. You want to be aggressive as a hitter, but you also want to try and make sure that he can throw strikes.
Absolutely. That's why you kind of keel him. You get him into a small zone close to you so you don't chase.
The 3-1. Ball 4 inside, and the first 2 men have reached safely here for Navy. This is identical to the start for Kevin Long against Lafayette in the semifinals. Excuse me, against Holy Cross in the semifinals. In that game, walked the lead, the first two batters in the first, and then after a sacrifice was able to get out of the inning unscathed. But now he has to face the top hitter in the Patriot League and one of the best hitters in the country in Sean Trent. Trent's numbers impressive, .419. Long from the third base side to the pitch. Breaking ball hit to third, could be two. Donnelly to second for one. Garzillo will not be able to make the return throw. They get the middleman on the fielder's choice, one away.
It was an interesting pitch selection by Sean Trent there. You know, first pitch breaking ball. It wasn't a good spot on the plate, but I think as a hitter, you go up there, and you mentioned it before, with walking a guy and getting into that position, you want to keyhole him and stick with that fastball, something that you can hit really well. And he offered at the first breaking ball there.
He saw a lot of breaking balls last week in the semis. A lot of first pitch breaking balls. Obviously, when you're hitting .420, everybody's going to try and pitch it carefully. And here's another guy hitting over .400, freshman Stephen Bourne, left-handed hitting it. Designated hitter today. It's throw to first. Trent is back. Connor Faust did a great job to save that one from going on the plate. Hit the defense real quick for Lehigh. James Blemming, the freshman in left. Justin Pacioli, the senior in center. Sophomore Jason Nalesnik is in right. I'll give you the infield in just a moment as long as it's ready here in the scoreless bottom of the first. Pitch. There's a fastball up high. It's 1-0. Patrick Donnelly is the third baseman. John Elson at short. Mike Garzillo at second. Connor Faust at first. Tim McKee behind the plate for Lehigh. Look at both runners and the throw over to first again, and they are very concerned about Trent. Trent is not one of the speed merchants on this Navy lineup. He only attempted 2 stolen bases this year, was successful once. Really falls more on Curry, who's at third. Boris, second place hitter. Blue, the man at the bottom of the order. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
Yeah, you're at 1-1, Mike. You're still in a good hitter's count here. It's a decision pitch for the pitcher. You as a hitter want to stick to your plan, hit what you want to hit. You know, first and third deep offense here.
Again, a throw over. Trent dives back.
And the other thing too, if you're throwing over that much, even though he's not a steal threat per se, you know, the threat is always there. So you're probably going to be able to get a couple more fastballs, especially early in the count, to hit.
Breaking ball hit through the left side. It's a base hit and an RBI right to score. And Navy takes a 1-0 lead.
Tremendous job there. It's a 1-1 count, as we mentioned. He's throwing a get-me-over breaking ball, not something in the dirt with 2 strikes. It's a hittable pitch. Does a great job going through the 6-hole there to drive that run in.
So Bourne, who had just 3 plate appearances in the semis, gets him on the board, and you can see it there. That's a really important pitch for Long. You know, he'll bump in the low 90s, but that slider is his best pitch. And how he's able to get lefties to swing over could be the key today with so many left-handed hitters in the Navy lineup. Here's another one of those. It's Connor Deneen who takes the ball high. It's 1-0.
Well, he's going to have to get into those 2-strike counts to be able to use that slider with some depth low in the zone. Something like that 1-1 count there, that's more of a get-me-over to use it with 2 strikes.
Deneen had a big series against Lafayette, 6 for 11, 6 runs scored in the semis. Left-handed hitting right fielder takes a strike. You mentioned the lefties in the lineup. You have Borisek, who you saw earlier, Bourne, who had that RBI, Ben McGrath coming up, Logan Knowles. It's a much more balanced lineup for the Naval Academy than it is for Lehigh. Long trying to work out of this first inning jam. The pitch popped up, foul territory, left field line. It's going to be a long run and slice out of play. As Blemming never really had a chance at that one. It lands over the fence.
Well, that's an interesting left field line there. It's shorts 323 down the line, but it curves in there. They got padding on the brick wall in left field, but it is a tricky kind of left field corner there. Lehigh coaches were hitting fungos off the wall yesterday during the workout to get used to that.
And you saw how Sean Trent played that in the first inning. That it could probably saved a base on that with the speedy Garzillo. This ball away. The count now 2-2.
Navy putting the pressure, no doubt, on Lehigh early on. I mean, the pitch count is racking up here for Kevin Long, and Navy wants to get these guys, keep Kevin on the mound as long as possible here, and obviously score as many runs as they can.
Deneen leading this team in doubles. He also had 7 triples on. Breaking ball hit on the ground to second. Elson for one, over to first, double play. Kevin Long gets out of the jam, allowing just a run. They strand a man. We've played one. It's 1-0 Navy. Top of the second, Navy leading Lehigh 1-0. For the latest news and stories on everything in the Patriot League, you can follow the Patriot League on Twitter at Patriot League. It will be 5, 6, and 7 in the Mountain Hawks order. John Elson, the senior shortstop, to lead things off for Lehigh. Against the right-hander Stephen Moore, through a scoreless first. First pitch is a strike to Elson. Elson, Patrick Walsh, and Connor Faust here to bat for Lehigh. Moore's 0-1, big breaking ball misses away. It is 1-1.
This is big for Moore here. It's obviously a shutdown inning. We get up 1-0. Navy does, and you got to be able to go out there and shut these guys down.
1-1, fastball line to center field coming on. Curry makes the head-high catch. Leadoff man retired here in the second. But you talk about that, and from a statistical standpoint, when you break that down, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of correlation. But from the feeling in the dugout, when you're able to stem that momentum tide or build on it, get those hitters back, especially when they've had a long inning at the plate, how much does that help?
It's huge. It's all about momentum and feel and everything that goes along with it, with the emotions. And that's not so much statistical, but it is emotional, and it makes a huge difference in a ball game.
Here's Patrick Walsh, half a dozen homers on the year, including 2 in the opening game of the semifinals against Holy Cross. I know you really like his swing.
Oh, absolutely. It's
swing and a miss.
To me, and it was funny talking to Coach the other day, he just wants to get a ball he can drive and swing as hard as he can. And he's got the ability to power the ball to all parts of the ballpark, and that's unique.
The 1-1 takes low. It's 2-1. 1-0 Navy leading Lehigh here in the second.
But it's more of a controlled violence. He's not falling all over the box. He's got it all under control.
2-1, swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Boy, you can see Moore really slows his arm down on that breaking ball in an effort to get it near the strike zone. He is just thinking about strike, 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 strike.
It'll be interesting to see if Lehigh picks that up in the dugout and in the on-deck circle.
2-2 in the dirt. The count goes full to Walsh.
Because those are the little things as hitters and guys on the bench, you're always paying attention. You play 2.5, 3 hours, and you're not just paying attention when you're at the plate or when the ball's hit you. So a lot of those little things, it's a team effort.
Payoff, driven to right center field. Curry right there will make the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the second. Already 3 putouts for Curry.
Yeah, well, they're getting in it, letting it get the head out there and drive the baseball. They're not afraid of contact, this Lehigh team.
Here's Connor Faust, the first baseman. That's hitting .215 on the season, but 7 doubles to go with that home run. Right-handed hitter pops it up. Shallow right, going out to second baseman Borisek. Over his shoulder, sliding grab. Looks like he lost it in the sun. That's a bad sun field and right. We'll talk about that as the afternoon goes on. Perfect second for Moore. We head to the bottom of the second. It's 1-0 Navy on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Bottom 2, Navy leading Lehigh 1-0. First team All-Patriot League catcher Adrian Chinnery to lead things off for the midshipman hit. Right-handed hitting catcher. It's a strike on the outside corner from Kevin Long. Chinnery, freshman Ben McGrath, and freshman Logan Knowles. 6, 7, and 8 in the order for the midshipmen. Breaking ball up high, it's 1-1. Chinnery 3 for 12 with 5 runs scored against Lafayette in the semis. He was hitting cleanup in that series, down to the 6th spot today. Fouls it back, it's 1-2.
Yeah, so far, hitters for Navy are getting some good hittable pitches on the 1-1 counts today from Long. Just missed a chance there.
It seems like he's going to the fastball a lot 1-1. The slider really is his bread and butter. Now, certainly he has a little bit of velocity, too. Slider hit on the ground to short, gobbled up by Elson, over the top of the throw. Lead second.
Yeah, it's just about getting hittable pitches. The ball could be a breaking ball, but again, going back to my point earlier last inning about just paying attention in the dugout and understanding patterns. A lot of that, as a hitter, is understanding the pattern of the pitcher and what for certain situations with men on or not, or nobody on.
You saw there that he is able to roll over on that breaking ball. Again, to roll over on the breaking ball as Ben McGrath takes a ball high. It's 1-0. McGrath had a huge series with 9 RBI and 3 extra base hits in the semis. Hitting just .217 on the year. A freshman switch hitter takes high. It's 2-0. McGrath is a guy who actually had a chance to play at Duke and turned down some scholarship offers from Duke to be able to play at the Naval Academy.
Yeah, you notice his load as well. He's got a quick load, so against velocity, his swing works pretty good.
Swings and pops that one up. Shortstop Elson shading his eyes from the sun, staggers, but has it. There's 2 away.
Yeah, that sun becomes a problem here at this field. We saw it yesterday during the workouts, and we saw it obviously last inning to end the inning. You know, you have to deal with the sun. You have to use your glove to be able to shade your eyes over that ball and then find the sun. We have very few clouds up here. It's a high sky. It makes it even tougher.
Brings up Logan Knowles with 2 outs. Navy with a 1-0 lead in the second. Takes a fastball strike. It's 0-1. Well, we saw that one of the reasons why Lehigh wanted to work out yesterday afternoon was exactly that. They know how difficult the Sun field, specifically right field, is as the day goes on. Knowles to short. Center. He has a busy inning. Kevin Long settles in. 1, 2, 3. We've played 2. It's 1-0 Navy leading Lehigh on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Top of the 3rd inning, 8-9-1 to hit for Lehigh here as Navy leads 1-0. Stephen Bourne, an RBI single in the top of the 1st. That is all the scoring so far as right-hander Stephen Moore, the senior, pumps a strike to senior catcher Tim McKay. It'll be McKay, James Blemming, and then back to the top of the order for Lehigh, who has just 1 hit so far today. McKay tries to bunt and fouls it off at the plate. It's 0-2. McKay is an excellent bunter at the bottom of the line. They ask him to bunt an awful lot in this Lehigh lineup.
And that's important in this game, in the college game as well. And being able to turn that lineup over and get you back to Pacioli at the top, it's important to be able to try to get guys on base.
Moore does not waste any time as he misses with a breaking ball there. It's 1-2.
You also like the bottom of your lineup to be able to swing as well. And I think Lehigh, you know, they have the ability to do it.
Popped up, shallow center. Coming in is Curry. He's got a beat on it, and he makes the catch for out number 1. So mostly fly ball out so far for Stephen Moore in this one. Is getting a lot of weak contact towards the middle of the field. I mean, these are fly ball hitters in this lineup for Lehigh. He gave up just 5 hits. Really, it was a lot of fly ball outs in his victory over Lafayette as well in the semifinals. Here's James Blemming, the freshman.
Sports is good for you.
Hit his first collegiate home run last weekend against Holy Cross. Takes a strike. It's 0-1.
When you get guys hitting the ball to the deep part, the big part of the field, they're on time. They're not behind or too early, and these guys, I mean, they're square. We hit the field, they did, a couple of those guys, but if you're using the big part of the field in the center field, you're right on time.
Blemming takes low. It's 1-2.
And that's where you want to be. The reason that center field is the furthest part of the field on any baseball field, because that's everybody's true power.
Breaking ball hit on the ground to third. Behind the bag is Knowles. He'll have to hurry that throw across, and it is just in time to get Blemming. John Bisco, the coach at first, a bit dubious by the call by the first base umpire Tim Lombardo. It was a very close play. Blemming can fly.
Yeah, let's take a look at this again. Great job getting around that baseball, but on second look, he may have been safe there. Close call, for
bang,
sure.
Bang play. Good strong throw by Knowles, who rather than backhanding, circled to get in front of that and got his arm behind it. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Justin Pacioli, leadoff man in the Lehigh lineup. And he's got a very interesting streak going on. Flied out to right his first time as Lehigh trails 1-0. Pacioli has reached base safely in 59 consecutive games last season. Takes a fastball strike. It's 1-1.
And it seems to me like he understands his strike zone. It doesn't look like he's rushing anywhere. He's very calm.
Bounces it to third. Knowles will fire a strike across. And a 1-2-3 third for Stephen Moore, who is rolling through this Lehigh lineup through 2.5. It's 1-0 Navy on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. 1-0 Navy, bottom 3. Fans can purchase Patriot League merchandise and championship apparel on the new Patriot League store. In addition, every Patriot League school's merchandise is also available at the PatriotLeagueStore.com. Number 9 hitter for Navy, Travis Blue, to lead things off here. Takes a fastball strike from Kevin Long. Long struggled in the first inning, but since then has set down 4 in a row, helped out by a double play in the first. There's a strike. It's 0-2 to the number 9 hitter in the Navy order.
Yeah, and Long hitting his spots more. Seems just to be a lot calmer there.
0-2, slider misses away. Got now a ball and 2 strikes.
And that's a good pitch with 2 strikes there. It's almost like you're trying to tease him a little bit to go chase, but he left it close enough to the plate.
Flips that one over for a called strike 3. And Blue is the first strikeout victim for Long.
And sometimes how a hitter takes a pitch can tell a pitcher exactly what he's looking for. If he throws a breaking ball like he did there, with an 0-2 count, and he just takes it calm, maybe he's looking for a fastball. Maybe he's not looking for that pitch. Maybe why he went back to that, another slider.
Robert Curry, he scored the lone run of this game as he takes the first pitch. Low for a ball. Curry walked and scored in the first. It's 1-0 Navy in the last of the third. Hits this one on the ground to short. Elson's been busy the last 2 innings. Perfect throw to first. 2 up, 2 down in the third.
That's what you want from your defense. Make the routine play. We're not looking for the spectacular play as a coach. We're looking for the routine play. If it gets hit to you, let's play some good catch and catch the ball, throw the ball, and that's what we've seen so far here in this game today.
There's Borisek, who walked in the first. First pitch to the left-handed hitting second baseman. Line to center. Pacioli's got a beat on it. And a 1-2-3 third for Long. Both pitchers have now retired 7 in a row. We've played 3. Navy leading Lehigh 1-0 on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insider. Top of the 4th inning has been all about the pitching so far, and specifically the pitching is Stephen Moore, the starter for Navy. 35 pitches through the first 3 innings, 24 strikes. He set down 7 in a row as Jason Nalesnik takes strike 1. It's the heart of the Lehigh order here, starting with Nalesnik, then Mike Garzillo, and Patrick Donnelly. The 0-1 to Nalesnik. Off the plate, it's 1-1.
Yeah, as Lehigh, you still got to be aggressive here. You can't be shying away, down 1-0 here in the 4th.
Pitch on its way. Thought about offering it that slider. No swing, says the first base umpire, Tim Lombardo.
And that 1-1 count, we talked about it earlier today, but that's still an aggressive count for hitters. That's why you got that type of a check swing, because he's looking, it's a presentation of a fastball, then all of a sudden slider.
2-1, there's a strike. 2-2, and you got a fastball count there, but that was a really good picking away.
Yeah, and that's the cat and mouse game, back and forth. Moore's doing his job, putting the ball where he needs to put it.
2-2 in the dirt, and the count goes full. So Nalesnik, the leadoff man here in the 4th, has run the count very well, as most of the guys do in the Lehigh lineup. You wouldn't guess it from looking at him at 6'2", 240, but he was a 3-sport standout in high school. And the payoff, hit on the ground towards the middle, that's going to be a base hit. So now Lehigh has a base runner here. That snaps is set down by the starter Moore.
Great leadoff at bat there. Got him into a full count, got a hitter's pitch there. Didn't try to do too much with that pitch. Stayed to the big part of the field. Did a great job getting on base here to lead off the inning.
And here's the one guy that's had solved more to this point, Mike Garzillo, who doubled into the left field corner his first trip. Get a good look at Lesnick in a moment. Garzillo, one of the top players in the conference this year. First pitch, there's a fastball strike. 0-1.
We got to pay attention to Lehigh here, how long it takes more to get to the plate. You might be maybe a run and hit, not so much a hit and run. Maybe get into a fastball type of count or a hitter's count where you can send the base runner and see if you can go first at home.
Nalesnik, 10 of 12 in stolen base attempts. Pitch is a fastball strike. It's 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just playing the game and understanding. I think a lot of people don't realize how much you have to pay attention in a ball game to a lot of factors and a lot of variables that go into here, strategy and what to do on the field as a coach and a player. Players have to think. The coach can't think for you all the time.
More from the set, and the 0-2 breaking ball hit in the air to left, fairly deep. Trent going back, still going back. He's to the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch. Nalesnik retouches it second and has to hustle back to first, but Mike Garzillo chased Sean Trent all the way to the fence in left field for the first out of the 4th.
We almost had our first of the day, but Trent did a tremendous job. I love the pace as he went back. He had a good feeling of warning track where the wall was. He obviously timed his jump perfectly. That's having feel in the outfield, understanding field awareness where you're at, and he made that look easy.
Kevin, we talked about it earlier. This is a very big field here. It's listed as 397, as you can see, in center field. It's actually 405 to straightaway center just to the left of that. and 395 to the power alley and left, so it's even bigger than it looks on TV. Lined into left field, the first pitch from Donnelly's a base hit. Nalesnik will stop at second, and now Lehigh in business. First and second, one out, trailing 1-0 with John Elson coming up.
Yeah, Moore left a first pitch breaking ball up in the zone, and those usually get hit hard like they did there. That's what we call a get-me-over breaking ball, trying to get ahead. But, you know, as a hitter, you see the ball up. It's a lot easier to kind of slow yourself down a tick and be able to drive that. Did a great job there.
Now let's talk a little strategy here, because Lehigh, for all their power, is aggressive on the bases. Do you consider a double steal in this spot?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting some good contact, Lehigh is right now.
Elson lines it up the alley in right center field. That's extra bases. Nalesnik will score. Here comes Donnelly around third. Here comes a no relay throw as Borisic eats it. It's a 2-1 lead for the Mountain Hawks. Two-run double for the senior John Elson to give him the lead.
And that's what I was just saying before is they're getting some hard contact off of Moore now, and you might want to kind of take that momentum as a coach and let them swing. Have trust in your players. Understand and give them that confidence, saying, you know what, let's keep everybody there and go ahead and take your shot early in the count.
Bobby Applegate is the pitching coach for the midshipmen. He's going to go to the mound to talk to the senior right-hander here. That happened very, very quickly in the span of just 4 batters. Moore had been mowing him down and got deep into a count with Nalesnik that started this rally, and there you see Elson's double up the gap in right center. It was a center cut fastball, and there's the speed from Donnelly on his way to third. As all of these guys run well.
Second time around the order, seeing Moore for the second time out of the way, maybe some of the jitters, some of the anxiousness, he settled down a little bit, and you get an inning like this.
We talked about it at the outset. Navy had scoreless innings in a row. That snaps it at 22 innings for the midshipmen, and it does it in a big way as Lehigh takes the lead. And now here's Patrick Walsh, who has some power. He flagged to center his first trip.
This lineup doesn't quit. You got Walsh at the plate with some power.
Elson getting his lead at second as Moore working from the stretch and will spin and throw to fake a throw to second, excuse me. You will see that as this game goes on, the pitchers will be very concerned with base runners. Moore, a check of the runner, and the first pitch misses high. It's 1-0. He just does not look as comfortable from the stretch, does he?
No, not at all. And again, looks like he's feeling through his pitches, and that's where we're getting mistakes out over the plate that have a chance to, hitters to do some damage with.
The 1-0, Walsh swings and drives it to center. Going back on it is Curry. He's got a beat on it. He makes the catch. Elson tagging. He will go to third without a throw.
Elson with a great base running there. Saw the ball, saw an opportunity for the ball to be caught. Didn't venture too far off of second base. Got back to second base. Tagged, got into even better scoring position at third base with 2 outs.
It'll bring up Connor Faust. Faust flied to right his first trip. 2-1, Lehigh with the lead here in the top of the 4th.
I always tell hitters that fly balls aren't necessarily bad, especially with runners in scoring position and on base.
First pitch to Faust. It's a fastball strike on the outside corner.
Because you have an opportunity to move guys over, get guys in with less than 2 outs. And a hard line drive is what everybody's craving for, but a good long fly ball will help too with runners in scoring position.
It's a fastball strike, and it's 0-2 now to Faust. Now this is where the defense of Adrian Chinnery comes in. He's not a fast guy, but he is an extremely quick and athletic catcher, and we'll see if Moore tries to spike a breaking ball here. 0-2 goes to the fastball and blows away Faust to end the inning. First strikeout for Moore, but Lehigh takes the lead. John Elson's 2-run double makes it 2-1 Lehigh as we head to the bottom of the 4th on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. 2-1 Lehigh, bottom of the 4th. To learn about the academic programs at each of the 10 Patriot League institutions, visit the Patriot Academic Network website at patriotleagueacademicnetwork.org. Kevin Long has settled down after a rough first inning. He starts Sean Trent with a breaking ball strike. It's 0-1. Trent grounded out on a breaking ball, first pitch in the first. It's another one, and he bounces it to short. Charging is Elson, who has been very busy as he throws out Trent easily. That's now 8 in a row set down by Kevin Long, who walked the first 2 hitters of this game. Heck, 3 of the first 4 batters in this game reached for Navy, but since then, Long has really settled in.
Yeah, and he's going to his breaking ball. He's obviously not giving Sean Trent anything hard and fast to hit, which I don't blame at all, but Sean's trying to navigate through that as well and trying to sit back as best he can, because those are hittable breaking balls.
Here's the only guy who's figured out Long to this point, Stephen Bourne, freshman. RBI single in the first, opposite field between the shortstop and third baseman. Left-handed hitter. Slaps it foul past third. That's the third base coach, Jeff Kane. It's 1-1. Bourne's twin brother, Andrew, is actually a Division I baseball player, too, at Davidson in the Colonial Athletic Conference. Excuse me, in the A10 now. Davidson in the A10. Strike. It's 1-2. Davidson will probably be playing in the A10 tournament not far from here. They're going to be in Arlington, Virginia for their tournament this year. His brother, an outfielder who's actually pitched some this year. 1-2, slap foul. Bourne just staying alive.
It's interesting to me where they set up on the outside here last time. Him getting the ball through the 6-hole in his last at-bat. I would crowd him in a little bit. He hasn't shown the ability to get the head out quite yet, so we'll see what they do.
1-2. Hit in the air to left. Coming in is Blemming, and he dives and makes the catch. Nice play by Blemming coming in on that one. 2 outs here in the fourth. Lehigh leading 2-1.
As the opposite field outfielder, so say left field in this case, on a left-handed batter with 2 strikes, it really helps you if you come in and over to the line for something just like that to give you an opportunity, because not too many guys are going to be with 2 strikes able to drive the baseball the other way. So I thought he positioned himself quite well.
Blemming is learning to play the outfield kind of as we go here. He's fouled off out of play by Deneen. Blemming was recruited as a shortstop and has actually been converted to the outfield. He will probably take over at short next year when John Elson graduates. 0-1 to Deneen, breaking ball strike. It's 0-2.
A lot of college coaches will recruit shortstops just for the simple fact that you can put them pretty much anywhere. You're usually your best athlete on the field, and now you see him out in left field for now.
0-2, fastball misses high. It's 1-2. And that's the way a lot of pro organizations draft up the middle players. You see them draft a lot of shortstops and center fielders because if they can hit a little bit, they're certainly athletic enough that they can move to another position. So foul back, pretty good at bat here from Deneen.
He's being challenged right now. He's taken, that cut was much better. He was much more on time than the last cut he took, but that timing is everything in hitting. And that's, if a pitcher like this be able to keep you off balance, it's tough.
1-2, breaking ball just off the plate, maybe a touch high. Count now 2-2 to Deneen.
As long as a pitcher, as we mentioned it earlier, is you're not doubling up or tripling up too much and you get the hitter to be on your speed.
In the dirt, the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Navy trailing 2-1 last of the fourth. Deneen hit into a double play, his first at bat to end the first. Junior outfielder waits for the payoff. Foul tip, just did get a piece. No, he swung and missed. It got away from McKay, and he's going to reach first safely on a passed ball. I don't know if McKay got crossed up or if he thought that hit the bat of Deneen, but it got away just barely outside the dirt circle at home plate, and Deneen able to reach.
That was a strange play. Yeah, it looks like maybe it caught a little bit of the umpire. We'll take a second look here, but pitch is coming inside high and tight.
Definitely missed it.
Yeah, and it was just a miss, a clean miss, and got a little bit of the umpire as well.
Well, knocked down by Tim Detweiler, the home plate ump, as McKay's going to give the home plate ump a chance to collect his thought that Navy has had since there were 2 outs in the first. Adrian Chinnery, the catcher, grounded to short his first time. He adjusts his batting gloves. Chinnery, first team All-Patriot League selection as a catcher. It's from Wilmington, Delaware, the sophomore. First pitch in the dirt. Good stop by McKay. It's 1-0.
Great stop, and we saw a little bit of a deke. Not sure if Deneen was going to go on that pitch or not, but that would have been the pitch to obviously go on, breaking ball in the dirt. But we'll see.
Deneen 3 of 4 in this season. Long will throw over. Diving back is Deneen. Long committed an error on a pickoff. Deneen has a pretty good lead. Second foot is almost to the cut of the turf. This is an all-turf infield. His time is called at home plate. This was one of the first all-turf fields in the nation. In fact, I think it was the third overall here at Max Bishop Stadium. It's a 1-0. Line down the right field line, foul and out of play. It's a 1-1. Only the area around home plate and the pitcher's mound are dirt. Everything else is turf. It's a beautiful stadium, especially when you consider that it's right on the Naval Academy campus. You see many of the buildings. If you look behind the home plate, you can see the State House in Annapolis. There's a Navy jet in right center. Throw over, and Deneen gets back as Faust drops it. It's really an interesting setting. There's a little river right behind the ballpark. Beautiful spot for baseball.
It is. It's a tremendous spot. It's my first time being down here, and yesterday it was just gorgeous. Another gorgeous day, and it was great to see everything around here. But you know, we're going to bring up my first pet peeve of the day here, Mike, and Chinnery with a 1-0 fastball. We're late. Opposite field foul. To me, if you're going to get a 1-0 fastball in your zone, if you're going to miss foul, pull side. You got to be able to get that head out there, be able to drive a hitter's count fastball.
Throw over, and Long throws it away again. It bounces back to the field. Deneen will stop at second as Garzillo tracks it down. Second throw today from Kevin in scoring position.
Yeah,
you have a guy that hit .314 this season for Navy at the plate.
You got to wonder what's going on with the pickoff throws to first base, and you know, he's thrown over quite a bit today. Obviously, two balls past the first baseman, but you got to wonder what's going on with him in his head.
Head coach for Lehigh, I think, talked a little bit to Long maybe about focusing on the hitter. I mean, he had been in a groove. He even struck out Deneen, who reached on a passed ball. He hadn't been out of the stretch since the first inning. We talked about that last inning with Moore as being maybe that was one of the issues why Lehigh was able to get to him, but he's very, very focused on these Navy base runners. And they run the base as well. They can run a little bit. They don't have necessarily the pure speed that Lehigh does, but you need to focus on getting hitters out.
And we also don't know where the calls are coming from, if it's from him or the bench as well as the pickoff.
The 1-1, breaking ball hit on the ground to third. To his left is Donnelly. Thinks about tagging the runner and will throw to first. And the inning is over. We've played 4 here in Annapolis. Lehigh leading Navy 2-1 on the Patriot League Network. 2-1 Lehigh, top of the 5th. Lehigh and Navy, game 1 of the best of 3 Patriot League Championships. 2-4-1 for the Mountain Hawks. They've left 2 runners on base. 1-1-0 for the Midshipmen. They have left 2 men. It should be 2 errors for Lehigh. The scoreboard here is wrong as pitcher Kevin Long has had a pair of throwing errors. Bottom of the order to hit for the Mountain Hawks here. 1, Tim McKay, James Blemming, Justin Pacioli against senior righty Stephen Moore, who misses high. It's 1-0. Second, about why Stephen Moore is starting this game. He was outstanding in game 2 of the semifinals against Lafayette. It's foul out of play. A nice catch nearly off to our right here, but Moore would have been the game 2 starter, but Luke Gillingham, who has been among the top pitchers in the country this season, the Patriot League Pitcher of the Year, hurt his shoulder in game 1 against Lafayette last weekend, and he's unavailable this weekend.
Yeah, and for him, we got a chance to speak to him yesterday. It's the first time he's ever had any type of arm injury. So for him, he's not quite sure how he's going to be able to, what the timetable is. He's got all checked out. He's on a rehab program, and hopefully he'll be back for the mids soon if they, in fact, get a chance to advance.
Yeah, Gillingham on the season, a 1.19 ERA and 111 strikeouts in 83 1/3 innings. The 1-2 to McCain misses high. We're talking to Sean Leary, the head coach of the Mountain Hawks, and he said in his 20 years in the league, that old, that he's been in this league 20 years as a head coach, it was maybe the best pitching team. And that says something.
Yeah, absolutely. And no matter where you're at, what level, what conference you're in, it's when you dominate, you dominate.
Count full to McKay, hit in the air to left. Trent's got a beat on it. And the Patriot League Player of the Year makes the catch. So McKay runs the count full, but the leadoff man retired here in the 5th.
The interesting thing I'm seeing so far, Mike, is Lehigh's finding a lot of barrels. They're not getting a lot of hits, but they're finding a lot of barrels. On the flip side, Navy getting a lot off the end, caps jammed a little bit, and so for me that's interesting.
Here's Blemming, takes a slider outside. It's 1-0.
And not all the time, just because you're on time, you're going to get a base hit. We're looking for hard defense, and we're looking to be able to square some balls up.
Blemming takes a fastball low, and the count 2-0. He grounded out on a bang-bang play in the in the third. He, Pacioli, Garzillo, Nalesnik, all very good runners. The 2-0 fouled back. He had a healthy cut at that fastball. It's 2-1.
Yeah, Lehigh again is not afraid of contact, and I love it. They're hungry up there. As I say, they let it eat a little bit. They're not afraid to swing and miss or foul it off, and I think that comes from, and it's contagious. Everybody in the lineup, they get good pitches a hit, and they let that breeds confidence throughout.
2-1. Hit back to the screen, and the count now 2-2.
And then as a pitcher, if you're looking 60 feet 6 inches into the plate, you see a guy taking a healthy cut at a number of your pitches. That obviously puts a little thing in your mind as well.
2-2. Inside, and the count goes full. Looked like maybe a little changeup that time. Missed in. 3-2.
A little arm side change up to a righty in. That's a tough pitch.
Payoff on its way. Ball 4, and Blemming reaches.
Great at bat by Blemming. Great at bat. He took some really good swings and some good pitches. Took some close, like that you said, the 2-2 pitch, change up inside. Took a close ball 3 there, and that's allowed him to get to that 3-2 count. And obviously that last pitch wasn't even close. Gets on base.
Throw over to first, and Blemming is back. Blemming only attempted 2 stolen bases, but we talked about, you talk about on a scouting scale, some of these guys that run as Pacioli stands in. Blemming dives back again, but these guys, as they're going down the line to first, and Blemming has top-end speed. Pacioli is probably maybe the fastest player in the conference. Blemming dives back again. Moore's beating him up, making the freshman dive back in again and again and again.
Welcome to the league.
Won't even let him get a lead. 2-1, Lehigh leading top of the 5th with the man on. Here's Pacioli. He's 0 for 2. Fouls off to the right. And out of play. Pacioli now 4 for 12 in the postseason. Came into today with a .502 on-base percentage.
You don't see that every day.
No. Senior, had a great season as a junior last year, 0-1. Take it low. Generally thought about throwing behind the runner. It's 1-1.
Yeah, you got to be on your toes. Good base running here. You got to be able to get good secondary leads here in case there's be on your toes for throwbacks as well. Just being a good base runner out there at first.
1-1, breaking ball, called strike on the outside corner. It is 1-2.
Can't do anything with that breaking ball in the corner right there. As a hitter, you just got to be able just to let that go and your chances with 2 strikes.
You see Pacioli second in the league. Mike Garzillo 4th for Lehigh. Joe Ogren of Bucknell 3rd there. Sean Trent leading the way by a wide margin. In fact, Trent came into today 5th in the nation in hitting. 1-2. Up high, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pacioli. 2-1 Lehigh, top of the 5th. John Elson's 2-run double in the 4th. Difference in this game. More from the set. A long look and the pitch hit on the ground towards short, backhanded there by Blue. Can't handle it. It's an infield single. And that extends Justin Pacioli's streak to 60 consecutive games, reaching safely. The only player with a longer streak is Zach George at Arkansas State, who's reached safely in 61 consecutive games. So Justin Pacioli on base again for Lehigh.
Well, to get on base, we talked about before, you got to be able to get a barrel on the baseball, have some barrel awareness. He did just that, putting in the 6 hole. Blue had no chance of being able to get any play, I think, but he did a good job keeping it in the infield.
Here's Nalesnik, who takes a breaking ball outside. It's 1-0. Nalesnik singled to lead off the 4th and scored on the John Elson double. He really got the ball rolling. Right-handed hitter, and now the second baseman Borisic's going to come in and have a quick conversation with Moore on the mound. I think probably try and figure out what they want to do defensively if there's a ball hit back to the time.
It could be that,
chat.
Or, as middle infielders, you look in to see the signs from the catcher. So with a man on second base, they obviously have a sequence of signs, chasing 2s or whatever the case may be. So he might be double checking on that, or potentially could be signs being relayed from the second baseman into the hitter.
Runner in the 1-0. Fastball strike, it's 1-1. The other thing is that there could be activity in the bullpen now. One of the challenges here is that Navy's bullpen is actually indoors. It's inside the Joe Diff batting facility. So it'll be a surprise to everyone when they go to the bullpen. The 1-1, tapped foul at the plate. Lesnick way out in front of that. It's 1-2. It's that element of surprise that you want.
You found it at the right place. Seems to be a pattern. But no, Moore, I mean, to me, what I look at Moore, he's challenging your eyesight. He's going fastball up and then breaking ball, soft stuff down below. He's trying to change your eye level up and down. Some pitchers go east and west and others go up and down. Seems like he's, with 2 strikes, maybe going up first and then down second with off speed.
1-2. That one is off speed in the dirt, and the count now 2-2 to Nalesnik.
And there is a coach down there in the batting cage down there, so you might be right when someone's getting loose. And he's got his, they had the traditional, gave the signal that whoever's down there is ready. So they have somebody on call if need be. 2
balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Lehigh up 2-1 and threatening. First and second. Great speed on the bases. Moore checks the lead runner. The pitch hit on the ground to short. That could be 2. Flip to second for 1. The relay and a fist pump from the freshman Ben McGrath at the end of it. 6-4-3, inning over. We are halfway home in Game 1 of the Patriot League Championship Series. Lehigh leads Navy 2-1 on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. 2-1 Lehigh, last of the 5th. See every buzzer beater, hear every cheer right here on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders, where fans can view live events and video on-demand features on your computer and various mobile devices. Visit patriotleague.tv to watch archived games throughout the summer or view feature stories on your favorite school. You can also download the mobile app from the Patriot League website. Ben McGrath leads off with a single here for Navy in the 5th. Tying run aboard, first hit since the first inning against Kevin Long, the starter for Lehigh. McGrath is aboard for Logan Knowles.
We mentioned that earlier about McGrath. He's got his swing type. He does well against velocity. He's got a quick kind of a little bit of a load, and that plays with some velo.
And bunts it dives right in front of the plate. McKay's got to play at second. He throws high, and time is called. They're going to say that did it hit him at home plate?
Yeah.
They're going to say it was foul. That call came from the first base umpire. Did it hit his bat?
I feel like it hit him right in the front leg, and that's where it's tough from behind the umpire. That's tough to be able to see. That's a great job by our first base umpire, Tim Lombardo, to be able to call that right out right away, so there's no discretion.
All right, so 0-1, so Knowles likely to bunt. Donnelly playing way in at third. Knowles takes low, it's 1-0. Knowles hitting just 183 on the year, 1 for 11. That one, an inside the park home run.
Knowles doing a great job when he's bunting here. He's up in the front of the box, if you can see. He's close to the plate. The good thing is you need to be able to square early.
Which he does, and he bunts it up along the first base line, and it will roll foul. And look out, a little collision there between Faust and Knowles. You can see Faust reach out to say, you're all right. Knowles just trots back to the plate. It's 1-2. We saw yesterday as they're here on the lines, if you bunt it true along either of the baselines, it will stay fair. That one obviously had a little bit of spin towards the first base line. Now it'll be interesting to see if Knowles keeps the bunt on. They're going to keep McGrath close.
He's in the back of the box now, so earlier when he was bunting, he was in the front. Now he's in the back, so maybe they took that off.
McGrath did not attempt a stolen base this season. Check, 1-2. Knowles not bunting. That looked like a breaking ball through his legs.
That's a tough call, but definitely went behind him somehow.
Here you go. Comes the replay on this one.
Let's
it
check
looks
this
like,
out again.
Yeah. Well, just
he did a good job getting out of the way, I guess.
Set and the 2-2 on its way. Just off the plate, and the count is full, 3-2. Well, you mentioned that, Kevin. That's a new rule in college baseball this year. For years, guys didn't have to move. They would wear it, turn into pitches. Now you have to make an attempt to get out of the way. And that was a change in the rules that some coaches were very upset about in the fall because it was an offensive weapon.
Absolutely.
The payoff to Knowles, line down the right field line, it is foul. Foul by about 5 feet there.
I know many coaches in fall and the winter getting hit by pitches. And, growing up as a baseball player, you were taught to directly take a pitch so you didn't get hurt. That's one thing, I think. But again, if it's legal, I can understand some coaches want to use that, as you said, as an offensive tool, be able to maybe get an extra guy on base.
McGrath was rusty, whether or not he is this time. He is. A 3-2 hit on the ground to second. They'll stay out of the double play. Garzillo bobbles, stays with it, and just does get the speedy Knowles at first.
I have 3 rules for fielding, Mike. Don't panic, and don't panic. And Garzillo did just that. He did not panic in that situation. He did pick the ball up with his glove instead of his bare hand, but he got the out at first base, and we got 1 out here.
But now the tying run in scoring position here in the last of the 5th, and here's Travis Blue. It's 2-1 1. It's a best-of-3 championship series. Game 2 to follow this one about a half an hour after the conclusion. First pitch to Blue outside, count 1-0 to the number 9 hitter. Struck out looking in the third, one of 2 strikeouts for Long so far today.
If I'm Blue right here and I'm getting sliders maybe early in the count, I want to look for something inside. Keep it close for me because, number one, I'll have less chance of chase.
Swings through that fastball.
And be able to take pitches better and just get a ball closer to me. That's to have the ability to drive the baseball. That slider on the outside looks good coming out of the hand, but by the time you swing, it's probably going to end up being a chase.
1-1. This is low. And the count 2 balls and a strike now to Blue.
And the job of a catcher is not so much to create strikes, but is to keep strikes that are strikes in the zone. And that's a tough thing for catchers too, especially with pitchers with some downward movement or maybe some sink.
Popped up, right field. Right there is Nalesnik. He will make the catch. And that's out number 2. It's gotten a little hazier here at Max Bishop Stadium, and so there were a few light clouds here that had taken away most of the sun. That would have been a much tougher play had the sun been out. 2 outs.
Yeah, and the wind's still blowing out to left field or left center, and that's also the play here with some right-handed hitters, maybe get the head out on something. But see what Curry does here and see if he gets any hittable pitches here early in the count with a guy on second base and 2 outs.
Curry walked and scored the lone Navy run in the first. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Curry now 7 for 15 in the playoffs. Came into today hitting .337. Second team all-conference performer 2 years in a row. Last year led the Patriot League in hits, stolen bases. This year battled a little injury.
And as a hitter, you have to stick with your plan. Just because he throws something else doesn't mean you have to swing at it. Stick with your plan with a runner in scoring position.
The 0-1, swinging a tamper to third. Charging is Donnelly. Gloves, throws on the run. He got him. Excellent play by Patrick Donnelly. Excellent infield defense from Lehigh so far. The leadoff man reaches, but he's left in scoring position for Navy. We've played 5. Top 6, Lehigh leading Navy 2-1. Mike Garzillo standing in. It's the heart of the Lehigh order. It'll be Garzillo, Donnelly, and Elson against Stephen Moore, the right-hander for Navy. You see the line on him so far. 2 runs, 5 hits allowed. It's 1 walk and 174 pitches for Moore to this point, 48 strikes. There was activity last inning in the Navy pen. See how long his leash is as Garzillo takes inside a ball. Garzillo in this one is 1 for 2. He doubled in the first and flied to left. Takes up high. It's 2-0. Garzillo came into today slugging .622. Former Morning Call Baseball High School Player of the Year. Swings and pops it up. Foul territory, third base side. Knowles going over, fighting the haze, but he can't have a play as it lands behind the dugout.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Get yourself in a 2-0 count. You got a pitch he could drive. He got the head out. He missed pull side foul. I'm sure he wanted to get one off the wall or over the wall, but that's, if you're going to miss there, and that's what you want to do as a hitter.
See Garzillo leading the league in slugging. Sean Trent, the Player of the Year, second in that category. Joe Ogren from Bucknell, third. So a strike on the outside corner, and now the count even at 2-2 to Garzillo. Garzillo runs very well, in addition to hitting for power. 2-2, foul back to the screen. He's out in front on that one and just did stay alive. He really controls his bat very well, doesn't he?
Absolutely, and that's what he's got the ability to extend at bats just like he did there.
He's got a confident waggle as he waits and flips his bat at that one. Shallow right. Coming in, Deneen going back as Borisek, the second baseman, kneels and gets off his glove. It's a base hit. That play had trouble written all over it from to go. He was deep in right field and kind of towards the line, and Borisek, you could see, was watching that one continue to spin. I think the wind may have pushed it a little bit towards center field. It's not a huge breeze, but may have been enough just to upset his timing on that, and he could not make the play.
I thought Borisek had a chance because he made a very similar play earlier in the game, just like that. It's a tough play as an infielder, going back with your back and looking over the shoulder.
Here's Patrick Donnelly, swings and misses. Pitch on the outside corner, it's 0-1. Donnelly 1 for 2. He scored what is right now the run that is the difference in this game. It's 2-1 Lehigh. John Elson, a 2-run double in the fourth as Garzillo scrambles back. He got a late read on that.
May have been looking for a sign. That's the thing. Sometimes you get caught up at first. You're looking in for the catcher, see if you can get a sign. You're looking at the third base coach, and all of a sudden the ball comes.
0-1, Donnelly squares and takes a strike. It's 0-2. Donnelly has been an outstanding postseason performer in his 2 years at Lehigh. Combined between now 2 championship series and 2 semifinals, he is 13 for 30. Waits for the 0-2, swing and miss. Moore got him to chase there, and he is a big first out here in the 6th.
Huge out for Moore there. That's what we needed. He had the opportunity to, now we got 1 out. He has an opportunity, ground ball, double play, get out of this inning before anything else happens.
And you can see Donnelly way out on his front foot there. Breaking balls, you saw the legs leak a little bit. 1 out, here's Elson. It's his double that's the difference. First pitch to the senior is a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1.
And with Donnelly, too, it may have been, he got that called second strike. He didn't think that was a good call. He thought it was the wrong call. And then all of a sudden you get a little bit tempered in the batter's box, and it can affect the rest of your at-bat.
0-1 in the dirt. The count now 1-1 to Elson. Elson came into today hitting just .227, but he's been a valuable performer on both sides of the ball. Has had a very good day defensively so far. Throw over and Garzillo scrambles back. I'll be interested to see if Garzillo is running here. You'd love to get him in scoring position. We have not seen Lehigh really run in this game. And Garzillo is one of those excellent runners that they have. Not going here, taken up high, and the count now 2-1.
I think Moore was thinking the same thing. He almost did a slide step of sorts. It wasn't a high leg kick. He did some sort of a slide step to get, and that's why he missed high. He wasn't able to get his arm on top of that baseball in time.
2-1 in the dirt, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike to Elson.
Similar. It's when you get guys on base and the pitcher has to change his tempo and his rhythm, that can also throw you off and with your location and able to command your pitches.
I think Elson's probably going to get a fastball here. He does, and he pops it up. Right center field. Coming over is Curry, is Deneen. You see peel off behind him, and there's 2 outs.
For the most part, Lehigh's hitters, they look comfortable. You know, they're not rushed by anything. They're taking good hacks for the most part. They're getting good pitches to hit. They just seem calm and comfortable, and there's no sense of anxiety or anything of that nature. And as I look at hitters, I love that in a hitter. They look like they're just ready to pounce on something.
Lehigh's leading 2-1. Here's one of those guys that's pounced. He's flied out twice to center. It's Patrick Walsh. He's hit the ball hard both times. Garzillo going on the first, not in time. Stolen base for Garzillo, and now he's in scoring position with 2 outs. You could almost guess that was going to happen right there with Walsh's power. Base hit here now would give Lehigh an insurance run.
Yeah, if I was Skip there, I would put on that run and hit and let Walsh just go ahead and go. And you know, you're going to get a fastball in that count. Take your chances. Maybe we get that guy in with 2 outs and Walsh bombing something out there.
Next pitch for Moore will be pitch number 90 on the afternoon. He's trailing 2-1 in the top of the 6th. The set and the pitch outside. Count 1-1 to Walsh. You see Moore over the last couple of years has been a very valuable pitcher here. The record does not show how well he pitched in 2014. Takes outside, and the count now 2.
If I'm Walsh here, I'm staying up the big part of the field, up the middle. So I'm not capping a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch here. I want to see something up, see center field, and stay directional up the middle.
He has the first 2 at-bats. He's likely to get a fastball here. No, it's a breaking ball, and he was way out in front, and he popped it foul down the right field line. Good job by Moore. I
want to stay up the middle and think, because you're getting into a 2-1 count, and it does throw you an off-speed. You have the ability to stay on it, and he flicked it off that time. But that's why, because if not, if you're looking pull side on that, you probably capped at the third base, and they're out of the inning.
Moore from the set. Garzillo away from second, and that time is called at the plate. The best arm in the outfield for Navy is Deneen in right. The 2-2, fastball high, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Walsh. 2 outs, 2-1 Lehigh, but they're threatening here in the 6th. Connor Faust waiting on deck. Now, with as well as Walsh swung the bat in his first 2 at-bats today, do you have to throw him if you want to try and give him something off speed and take your chances with Faust?
I would with him go off speed. Here, take my chances.
More set, the payoff. Swing and a miss. He did go off speed, and Walsh was way out in front, and the inning is over. A pair of strikeouts for Moore as he pitches around a leadoff single. We head to the bottom of the sixth. It's 2-1 Lehigh leading Navy on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. 2-1 Lehigh, bottom of the sixth, heart of the order due up for the United States Naval Academy against right-hander Kevin Long, who struggled in the first inning, walked a couple of guys, gave up a base hit, but after the Connor Deneen double play, he's allowed a base runner to reach on a strikeout on a wild pitch and a single, and that's been it as he has really settled in. You see the line there through 5 innings. Brad Borisic will take a strike to start things off here in the sixth for Navy. Down 2-1. It's Borisic, Sean Trent, and Stephen Bourne to hit here. The 0-1 hit on the ground to second. To his right is Garzillo. Plants, fires, got him. One away here in the sixth. Big to get the leadoff man ahead of Trent.
And that's a ball that maybe a lot of young players would try to get in front of because that's what they were taught. But the backhand is actually an easier play. And Garzillo did just that, be able to get down the backhand, and you're already set up in a position to throw a strike to first.
Here's Sean Trent, who won the batting title in the Patriot League this year and is one of the leading hitters in the nation. He's seen breaking balls on the first pitch twice. He takes a strike on the outside corner there. It's 0-1. Trent is a unique story in that he was a big-time showcase high school prospect, the 0-1, in the dirt. In fact, Trent was a top 100 recruit at the University of Florida. He was an Aflac, then called Aflac, now Perfect Game All-American in 2010. And there were 7 players that were in that game that are already in the big leagues. Takes inside, it's 2-1. Some of his teammates in that were Javier Baez of the Chicago Cubs, Jose Fernandez of the Marlins. You can see where Trent is nationally coming in today, 5th in the nation. There's a fastball strike, and the count now 2-2. After redshirting his freshman year at Florida, went to Manatee Community College, and after 2 years there, ended up at the Naval Academy. It's a really unique story. He lines out one just foul past the diving Faust at first. He is a hitter, and first of all, you don't see Manatee as one of the top. You don't see a lot of guys that go to play baseball at Manatee that end up at the Naval Academy.
No, and he's got the family history. His dad played ball at Army, and his uncle is an admiral in the Navy, and talking to him yesterday, he was very committed, and he loves his time here.
Breaking ball hit on the ground, hard past Elson into left. Pacioli slides, knock it down, and then he bobbles it. Trent's on his way to second. He's in there safely.
Great base running by Trent. He only slowed down a tick around first base, waiting for that bobble, and in fact, it did happen, and he made it easily into second base. That's good base running. That's instincts that can be taught, but that's just a top-level baseball.
That's a single and an error for Trent. That's base hit number 92 on the season. Pacioli, a little bit of weird play there as he slid to stop it from going further, and then it just popped out of his glove. So now with 1 out, the tying run in scoring position for Navy, and here's Stephen Bourne. He drove in Navy's lone run in the first. Left-handed hitting freshman DH takes down and in. It's 1-0.
You mentioned earlier crowding Bourne a little bit. He likes to go that other way, get the arms extended a little bit. Looks like they're trying to do just that inside, maybe before going outside.
1-0. Pop-up foul and out of play. But it'll land about 7 rows deep.
And as a hitter, you have to understand what you can and can't get to. It's almost, you don't really necessarily have to half the plate off, but you have to understand you as a hitter of where you stand in the box and where the strikes are that you can get. Swing path is. And for Bourne so far, just looking at him, it's not so much inside, it's out over the plate.
The 1-1 in the his back foot, and Bourne will reach, and so now Navy has its biggest threat since the first inning. A pair of base runners on and 1 out. It's going to be a slider here from Long that just looked like it got away from him a little bit, trying to back foot it. And he did, literally, but I think the intent was to get Bourne to try and chase it. Instead, he hung in and got hit. Now here's Connor Deneen. Deneen is 0 for 2. He hit into a double play, and he struck out and reached on a wild pitch. But he was one of the top hitters for Navy in the semis. Left-handed hitting right fielder takes low. It's 1-0.
Looks like they're crowding right now, the left-handed hitters for Navy. Sliders, fastballs in, trying to crowd them. And these guys are on top of the dish, and why not try to tie them up inside? And if they hit it foul.
Long a check of the lead runner, Trent. Fastball lined right to Garzillo at second. Flip to second. Double play, and he's out of the inning. Deneen smoked it right at Garzillo, and Trent got hung in no man's land. The inning is over. Kevin Long escapes. We've played 6. It's 2-1. Lehigh leading Navy on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Overrated and underrated at campusinsiders.com. Bottom third of the Lehigh order to hit here in the top of the 7th. Counter Faust takes a strike. It's 2-1 Lehigh, top of the 7th. Stephen Moore still on the hill for Navy as Faust squares to bunt and takes. It's 1-1. It'll be Faust, McKay, and Blemming. Moore now at 96 pitches. From the first base side, he winds and delivers. Swing and a miss, and Faust behind now. 1 ball.
It seems like the bottom of the off a few innings here today, and trying to get production from him is key.
2 outside, the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes to the number 7 hitter in the Mountain Hawks order.
So far staying away from Faust. We'll see if they continue to do that.
Pitch in the dirt, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the first baseman.
Because we're getting to that point in the ball game here in the later third of the game where pitchers pitch a little more carefully. You're down 2-1 Navy, and you don't want to get any more damage done to you.
Faust takes ball 4 outside. That is the first, of the day issued by Moore. Fastball just off the plate. And that'll be pitch to Stephen Moore, that last one. 62 strikes. And here's Tim McKay. McKay will likely be bunting. 8 sacrifice hits during the season. He's 0 for 2 today. 2-1 Lehigh leading. Navy with a run in the first on the Stephen Bourne RBI single. John Elson, a 2-run double for the Mountain Hawks in the 4th. More set. McKay bunts, and he pushes it to first. He will go to second, throws high, everybody's safe. Second base umpire Keith Seghetti on the call right away, saying that the shortstop Blue was off the bag. That was a dangerous play by McGrath to try and gun down the lead runner.
You have to make sure, Mike, that you get 1 out in this situation, any out, whether it's the lead out or the guy that bunted the baseball. But that's part of the panic involved in a situation like that. Late in the ball game, outs are obviously at a premium.
And now Paul Kostakopoulos, the head coach of the midshipmen, and draw in his entire infield here. Now, generally, Kostakopoulos does not make pitching changes. It's Bobby Applegate, the pitching coach, that does a lot of the time. And I think he's giving instruction mostly to his infielders on what to do here, expecting Blemming to bunt.
It's almost like calling the play in from the sidelines in football. You want, as a head coach, you want to be able to calm things down, make sure everybody understands their role, where they're going, and where they need to be, so that they already have the plan drawn up before it actually happens, perhaps not getting into the panic mode again in a situation.
Sean Leary, the head coach at Lehigh, having a meeting with his base runners and his hitter, the freshman James Blemming. It's going to go as a fielder's choice and an error on the first baseman McGrath because the throw pulled Blue off the bag.
Good job by Blue keeping it in the infield. That was a heck of a play as well.
It was a high throw. But so now it's first and second, nobody out for 1 with a walk. And he has very good speed, so even if he gets a bunt down here, it's going to be a challenge to make a play at first. Let's see what they do with the defense. Pinched in at the corners. First baseman charging. Blemming takes a foul 1. So for that play, there was no wheel on. The shortstop Blue stayed up the middle by the runner at second, and the third base home, hoping to gun down the lead runner if the ball is bunted hard. First baseman.
Yeah, this is almost a reactionary play here for a lot of guys.
Pitch, Blemming squares and bunts it towards the third baseman. Knowles will charge, throw on the run. He got him, just barely.
Wow.
The first base umpire, Tim Lombardo, thought for a second there about calling him safe, and I think he made the right call. It looked like Blemming was out, but it was bang, bang again. Runners move up to second and third with 1 out.
We've had a lot of action today at first base with close calls, but a great bunt that was laid down. A tremendous play, but it's just those bang-bang plays there. But you know what? They have runners at second and third with 1 out here in top of the 7th.
And Pacioli's going to be intentionally walked here to load the bases, so they will take their chances with Jason Nalesnik. So Pacioli to be intentionally walked, will be bases loaded, 1 out. as Moore fires ball 2. And you have to wonder whether or not Moore will face Nalesnik. He is up over 100 pitches. They do have a couple of quality relievers in the Navy pen.
And this is no given either. You have to, as a pitcher, you have to be able to, throw a strike to the catcher in an unorthodox way, so to speak. And so you've seen stuff happen where guys have passed balls, runners score. It's not just a given with four balls and a walk here. So Lehigh is at the top of their lineup. There's no give in this lineup, and Lehigh's right where they want to be.
And it will be Moore to face Nalesnik. So here is the biggest spot in the game so far. Lehigh leading 2-1, bases loaded, 1 out in the 7th. Nalesnik is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 4th. He's grounded out twice, including in an inning-ending double play in the 5th with 2 men on. Hulking right-handed hitter swings and misses. Oh, he was trying to do some damage on that first cut. It's 0-1.
And I like that. He's not scared. He wants to get after it. He got a good pitch. He just happened to miss it. But the pressure here is obviously on the pitcher with bases loaded.
Lesnick runs well if you're thinking about a double play. They're pinched up the middle just in case. Takes a fastball strike on the outside corner. And Moore is in the driver's seat now, 0-2. Now, what do you do, Kevin, if you're Moore here? Is it a steady diet of off speed? Do you try and fool him with one more fastball?
Pitch to your strengths, whatever that is.
Pitch up high in the count 1-2. He tried to change the eye level there. You talked about that earlier. He's tried to do that with the fastball. Have to think he's setting him up for a breaking ball here, 1-2.
Yeah, you would have to. And again, going back to go to your strengths. What has worked before?
More from the set and the 1-2. There was that breaking ball in the dirt, smothered by Chinnery, and the count now even. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You mentioned Chinnery and his athletic ability behind the plate. You have to have total confidence in your catcher to be able to throw that pitch. Not only any part of the game, but especially in this part with bases loaded, 1 out here.
See McKay at second, Faust is at third. The runner at first is Pacioli as Moore wants a new set of signs from the catcher Chinnery. 2-2 the count. Moore set and the pitch. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Healthy cut again by Nalesnik.
And that's what drives hitters mad. You get a pitch that you want to go, you put a good swing on it, and you miss it. That's the whole round ball, round bat theory where the physics don't always work in your favor.
Just a tick late when you follow it straight back like that, but you got a good read on us. Chinnery's going to go out and I think just ask Moore, all right, what do you want to do here? He's gone to the fastball there. He went to the slider on 1-2 and missed in the dirt. It seems to be the pitch that he's most comfortable with. You have to wonder if he would go to it in this count. 2-2, just off the plate, and the count is full.
That's what I love about baseball. It's the cat and mouse game. It's the strategy that's involved in it, both on the mound, behind the plate, and at the plate as a hitter. And that's why what makes baseball so unique to me.
Mountain Hawks at every station. 114th pitch from Moore on the way. The payoff. Swing and a miss. He got Nalesnik to chase a high fastball, 2 outs.
Huge strikeout for Moore there. Challenged him with a fastball, raised his eye level. There was some chase in there, and he got that huge strikeout to get the 2 outs.
Lesnick chasing a letter-high fastball, but he's not out of the woods net yet. Here's Mike Garzillo, 2 for 3 with a double. The first pitch, swing and a drive, deep left field. Trent going back, looks up, grand slam, home run, Mike Garzillo. On the first pitch, he crushes one towards the scoreboard in left center field, and Lehigh has busted it open. It's 6-1.
We talked about at the Open about Lehigh's power, and we thought that we were going to be able to see some showcased here today, and goodness gracious, Garzillo got into that, got the head out, and absolutely backspun the baseball. Let's check this out again. He gets in a great position, loaded position, and getting the head out there, and it's just a clean swing. The ball jumps off his bat. And
Donnelly swings at the first pitch, hits it in the air, right center. It's Curry who's camped under, makes the catch, but the damage is done. Mike Garzillo, a grand slam home run It's time to stretch in Annapolis. Lehigh leading Navy in Game 1, 6-1 on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Navy crowd still stunned after Mike Garzillo's two-out grand slam in the top of the 7th has given Lehigh a 6-1 lead over the midshipmen. 6-7-3 for the Mountain Hawks, 1-3-1 for the midshipman. Adrian Chinnery to lead things off against Kevin Long here in the 7th. With Kevin Wilson, I'm Mike Farron at Max Bishop Stadium, Game 1 of the Patriot League Championships, and Kevin Long, after struggling in the first inning, has really settled in for Lehigh. He's given up just 3 hits today, all singles, and after the first inning, they haven't had a runner get past second base as Navy's. Bumps a strike there, it's 1-1.
I think we buried the lead a little bit there with Kevin Long. You just touched upon it with after a shaky first inning, he's come down to shut Navy down pretty much, and here is another opportunity.
As the slider misses away, and the count now 2 balls and a strike. Long has been pretty efficient too. He's at 82 pitches. 19 of those were in the first inning. Swinging a liner up the alley in right center field. That's a base hit. Pacioli over to cut it off on the second hop. Adrian Chinnery leads off with a single, and that is just the second time since that first inning when he walked the first 2 hitters that the leadoff man has been aboard for Navy. McGrath led off with a single in the 5th, and then here in the 7th. We'll take a look back to the top of the 7th inning with Mike Garzillo's grand slam that gave Lehigh the lead here in a moment. Here it is, an absolute bomb scoreboard. That scoreboard is about 30 feet behind the left center field fence. Swinging a bouncer towards the middle, into center field. It's a base hit for McGrath. Stopping at second is Chinnery. McGrath now 2 for 3.
That's a tough play of the shortstop. Elson came in first because you don't know if the pitcher's going to secure that ball, and then you need to be at shortstop to turn the double play. But he came in to get the ball, and then obviously the ball got past Long, and he had to retreat to second base.
Sean Leary's going to make a pitching change here after in the 7th. Kevin Long's day is done. And we'll tell you about the new pitcher for Lehigh in a moment. On the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Lehigh goes to the bullpen with a 6-1 lead. It's Kevin Boswick, their fireman reliever. And I use that kind of old school term because he is an old school pitcher. He will likely be in this game the rest of the way. The right-hander making his 17th appearance in 39 1/3 innings, just 27 hits, 37 strikeouts, and you can see opponents hit under 200 against him. His breaking ball is the key.
That's the key, Mike. He's 86 to 89 with his fastball. That breaking ball you just mentioned, it's a swing and miss pitch. It's got tremendous depth to it. He's built like a pitcher. He's got that strong, big lower half. He's able to use that to drive forward in his pitches, and for him, he's got a little bit of a funky delivery, and he just gets outs. He gets a lot of swings and misses, and to your point, he's going to be in there for a long time.
A little bit of a higher arm slot, easier to kind of get more north and south on that breaking ball for him. He steps into a jam, though. Despite Lehigh leading 6-1, the first 2 are on for Navy here in the 7th, and Logan Knowles will stand in. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Mountain Hawks stunning Navy in the 7th on Mike grand slam. Check of the runners. First pitch to Knowles, a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Talking to Sean Leary, the coach of the Mountain Hawks this week, he said Boswick will pitch in our highest leverage spots. So here, even with the bottom of the order out, he feels like this is the spot to win the game. Breaking ball strike, it's 0-2.
And if coach is going to say something like that, he knows that he embraces this, the pitcher Boswick. He embraces this situation. He has full confidence in himself to be able to help his team get out of the inning and be able to win ball games.
Checks the runner Chinnery at second, and it steps off the rubber.
That's Lehigh as a whole. They were in this situation last year, just a year ago, with a lot of guys back, and that maturity through experience plays key, is a big factor in this game.
Check of the runner, and the 0-2 on its way. Fastball in the dirt. The count now 1-2 to Knowles.
Again, Boswick, you guys, if you get 3 runs in, you're still up, 6-4. You still have some cushion. Pound the strike zone.
Pitch on its way. Swing and a miss. He turned over a little bit of a changeup there. Had Knowles out in front of it, and that's the first out here in the 7th.
Yeah.
But one of the things I like about using Boswick in this situation, too, is, and I think this is something that college coaches do a lot better than professional coaches, is their best relievers come in the biggest spots. Now, part of the reason they can do that is because the season's about a third of the length of the major league season. Sure. But it allows you to try and, if Boswick gets out of this jam, if they feel like this is the most important and Lehigh tacks on, then you can save him, take him out of the game, and be able to save him for innings later. As the first pitch is up high to Blue, 1-0. But that's one of the things that you really see a lot of is that these guys aren't, it's not about the save statistic in college as it has become in pro ball. Instead, it's about getting the biggest outs in the game. 1-0, hit foul off to the right. It's 1-0.
Your point, stay away from the big inning. You just saw that, at the bottom of this inning. And you're trying to stay away from that big inning. You're trying to get people in positions to succeed. You want comfortable in those situations. Boswick is obviously one of them.
First and second, one out for Navy. They trail 6-1 last of the 7th. The pitch to Blue. Ball in the dirt, really targeted that one. It's 2-1.
And I feel for Boswick to be successful, he's got to continue to throw strikes. If he's pounding the zone with fastball and his slider, it makes that 2-strike slider more of a chase pitch for a hitter, knowing that he's around the zone a lot.
Got the number 9 hitter Blue at the plate. So this becomes a big out with the top of the Navy order is really dangerous. 2-1, fastball fouled back to the screen, challenge him with a high fastball, and Blue fouled off a pitch out of the zone. That was
Blue
up
a
in his
little
eyes.
anxious there, yeah, a little anxious. He got into a hitter's count. I've done that before plenty of times. You get a little anxious and you start chasing a little bit, but again, this sets up that breaking ball here.
He did put a pretty good swing on that one, though, much better than he did on the 1-0. Check of the runner, the 2-2, breaking ball up high, and the count 3-2. And so far, Boswick doesn't look like he has great feel for that breaking ball yet.
Yeah, watching him in warm-ups when he came in as well, he wasn't getting out front of that curveball as well as he has in the past. He's releasing a little bit high. If he can get a little bit more extension on that, he gets that bite a little bit more down in the middle of the zone.
And you can see the Blue tends to be very selective, led the Patriot League in walks. The 3-2, fastball inside. And we were just talking about how dangerous the top of this order is. And now they're going to get a chance. Bases loaded, one out. Now, unlike Lehigh, Navy had, in fact, Mike Garzillo has more home runs now than Navy did all season. So it's going to be more doubles and triples if they get extra base hits here. You don't expect Robert Curry to pull them within one with a swing. Curry is 0 for 2 with a walk, and he scored the lone midshipman run here.
Well, talking to Coach yesterday, he was saying his Navy offense is more of a gap-to-gap offense. They're not really known, obviously, for the long ball.
First pitch to Curry, popped up. Shallow right. Garzillo going out. The second baseman calls for it, will make the grab. Infield fly rule in effect. So Curry is out. And that's a second out. And a reminder that the infield fly can be called on a ball that's even fielded by an outfielder. It should really be called the pop-up. 2 outs.
Great point.
Now, here's Borisek. He is 0 for 2. He's lined out to center, bounced to second, and he's big spot. If he can reach here, it would bring Sean Trent to the plate as the tying run. Borisek calls for time. So this becomes a huge hitter for Lehigh, even with a 5-run lead. Trent only has 1 homer in the on-deck circle, but he is the kind of elite-level hitter that could get into one. Ball in the dirt, it's 1-0.
Again, looks like they're coming inside on these lefties for Navy, trying to tie them up. But, when you start feeling for your pitches, and you might sometimes leave something out over the plate, see if Borisek can get something out over the plate for himself to drive.
1-0. Called strike, snap throw to first, but the runner is back safely. Looked like a fastball in the inside corner there.
And when you stand on top of the plate for you young hitters watching, you have to understand where your middle of the plate is. If you're on top of the plate, the middle of your plate may not be down the middle of the plate. It might be the outside corner. So it's very important to understand, what's going on and where your middle of the plate is to get your pitch.
1-1. Swinging a liner left center field. That's going to be a base hit. 2 runs are going to score. Blue will stop at second, and it's a 6-3 ball game. 2-run single, Brad Borisek, and now the tying run comes to the plate, and it's the Conference Player of the Year, Sean Trent. This one is far from over, Kev.
It's interesting with right before that pitch was thrown, if you notice, he inched up in the batter's box looking for that off-speed pitch to take it away and take the depth away. He got a fastball out over the middle of the plate. and he was able to drive it into that gap.
Sean Trent, 1 for 3 today, hitting .418 at this moment. Now, last week, Navy came back down 5-0 against Lafayette to tie Game 1 of their semifinal before losing. So this is not a team that ever feels like they're out of it, even without much power. Ball 1 from Boswick to Trent.
And so far, Boswick not finding the feel on that breaking ball, which, again, as a hitter, you're eliminating that pitch. If you know he cannot find that feel, he's leaving it up, he's not throwing it for a strike, well, I can hone in on a fastball.
See if he gets one here. Trent would be the run at the plate. 1-0, swing and a pop-up foul. Out of play. Aggressive hack, but just a touch late on.
All you need is that little extra bit of confidence, knowing what's coming and what you want to hit, Mike. And that's, if a guy's not being able to command, all he needs to do, as Boswick's done in the past, is command that breaking ball. And that puts a little doubt in that hitter's mind of exactly what they're going to get.
Right now, the only thing he's had success with has been the fastball. The 1-1 on its way. Fastball strike, and the count now 1-2 to Trent.
And a guy like Trent, he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. We've mentioned about his barrel awareness, his unique ability to just barrel up everything and anything, anywhere it is, and to elongate his at-bats by fouling pitches off. This is the guy you want in this spot, especially with 2 strikes and 2 outs.
On base, Trent the potential tying run. A bluff at second, and that was enough to get Boswick to step off.
And that's something as a pitcher. 2 outs. If he wants to go, let him go. And that right there, the runner did his job of getting Boswick to step out of his pace and tempo.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Trent was right on that fastball, just a touch late on it.
It's tough to pitch guys like Trent that have such great balance in their swings and are able to have, barrel up anything, as we mentioned before. So it's not so much tricking him. You're just.
And he's a really good high ball hitter too. I mean, that's one of the things you've noticed in this first couple of weeks. He's got 7 hits in this postseason already. Spread waits for the 1-2 again from Boswick. Swing and a foul. He was out in front of that breaking ball and hit it into the third base dugout. Good job to stay alive.
Tremendous at-bat. Spoil it. You don't have to necessarily hit it for a base hit, but sometimes by spoiling those good pitches, you're able to get a better one the next pitch to be able to drive.
Anything in the gap will score 2 because both men on base, Blue and Borisek, can flat out fly. 6-3, Lehigh leading, last of the 7th, 2 outs. The 1-2 from Borisek again, he steps off. See there that 3 members of this Patriot League first team are on the Navy roster, 2 of them in the starting lineup today. The pitch up high, and the count now 2-2.
It's another example. He cannot get that breaking ball over for a strike, or he can't get it down in the zone to be effective for him as he's done. He's laboring out there just because of the fact he's pitching with.
Well, he's walked in a situation where he comes in with men on base, and not having seen him enough, who knows how much he operates out of the stretch. You may need that windup to get into a rhythm. It's always a little bit different when you come in with men on. There's not a whole lot of room for it. Certainly, there's a little bit more pressure in this situation, but your mechanics are a little bit different from the stretch as they are from the windup.
You got a great point.
2-2, 2 outs, 2 men on. Trent digs in, slowly waves the bat, now bounces it off his shoulder, and Borisek an inside move to second to trace Blue back.
Boswick needs to bear down on the hitter here. He needs to be able to have his undivided attention here on Trent to try to get him important person right now.
The 2-2, breaking ball in the dirt, and the count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Last of the 7, 6-3. The runners will be on the move here.
He doesn't have the same arm speed, Mike, on that. He felt, even though it was down in the zone, he felt for that. He was feeling for that, trying to place it down there. I don't see the same arm speed, the snap, the confidence in that breaking ball so far today.
That's where he's been at so far in this one. The runners will be on the move here. The 3-2, Trent swings and drives it. Left center field, on the move. The center fielder, Pacioli, makes the catch on the warning track. And the inning is over. Pacioli with a great jump came all the way over from right center to track that down just at the edge of the warning track. But Navy plates a couple. They leave a pair. We've played 7. It's 6 Navy. Game 1 of the Patriot League Baseball Championships on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. The Left-hander making his 7th appearance of the spring in 10 innings, 9 hits, 3 earned runs. The first pitch misses upstairs to John Elson. It'll be Elson, Walsh, and Faust here for Lehigh in the top of the 8th. Winner of this game will be in the driver's seat, needing to win one of the next 2 to advance to the NCAAs as Elson takes a strike from the left-hander Wyckoff. Elson, a big 2-run double to give Lehigh the lead in the 4th. 1-1 over a leaping Borasek into right center field. Leadoff man on here for the Mountain Hawks in the 8th.
Elson's feeling it today. You know, all parts of the field, putting pitches. He's definitely feeling it.
He's 2 for 4, and in 4 at-bats, all of them he's used the middle of the field. Lined out to center, flying out to center, a double and a single. And now he's on Walsh, the designated hitter. Walsh is 0 for 3. He's flied to center twice. Walsh has some power, half a dozen home runs on the year. It'll be interesting to see against a bunt up 3. He does square, though, and he bunts it in the air, and Chinnery, the catcher, makes the catch. What a play by Adrian Chinnery. We talked about his athleticism earlier. It was on full display there.
Absolutely. It's not too many guys you see behind the plate that are able to pop out that quick and be able to make a sliding catch like that. All of a sudden, you got to take your mask off, you got to find the baseball, and you have to have some field awareness. Tremendous play.
Here's counter Faust. He walked to lead off the 7th and scored on the Mike Garzillo grand slam. It's 6-3 Lehigh in the 8th. Wyckoff will throw over and the runner back. Stephen Moore started this game for Navy, 7 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, only 2 of them earned, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. You know, a key moment, Kevin, we talked about it when it happened in that 7th inning. Ben McGrath's decision on the bunt to throw to second, pulled the man off the bag at second, and that error ends up leading to 3 unearned runs in that frame. 4 unearned runs, excuse me, there's a strike.
Yeah, we touched upon it early in the game. You got to play good catch. You cannot give away outs in any league you play in, but especially here where home runs are not a premium. They'll come every now and again, but you got to play very good baseball, fundamentally sound.
Got the check of the runner in 0-1, and it's a slug butt up the long first and foul. Faust now behind 0-2. We saw Lehigh practicing that a little bit yesterday. That really kind of that slug up along the get it past the baseman, field it, and hope for the best.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a strategy there. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he was trying to do or missed a sign, or maybe he was right on. But it's, you know, take for pro ball, you're not going to have a guy of this size being able to do that. That's the beauty of the college game, and you're able to do different things to manufacture runs and put guys into scoring position.
Off the set, a check of the runner, and the 0-2 on its way outside a ball, and the count now 1-2 to Faust.
He's a presence in the box, and that, you know, when a guy gets up to the plate, over the plate, sometimes for a pitcher that can get on your nerves.
1-2 in the dirt. Good stop again by Chinnery. It's 2-2.
He's had a great game today behind the plate. Been very active. Most good catchers are. Obviously, they're kind of the unsung heroes for the most part in most games.
He doesn't have a catcher's build, a traditional catcher's build. He is built closer to a guy like, say, Travis d'Arnaud of the Mets. 2-2 hit in the air on the infield. It's the second baseman, Borasek, backing up and making the catch, and there's 2 outs. But that athleticism, we talked to Paul Kostakopoulos, the Navy coach, about him, and he said, you know, listen, he's incredibly quick. He's not a very fast runner, but he's incredibly quick, and he's a great receiver. Maybe we can take through that a little bit, because you touched on it earlier. At the bottom of the strike zone, on the edges of the strike zone, what it means for a pitcher to be able to have a guy who receives. What does a good receiver mean?
Basically, it means that he's keeping balls that are strikes. A lot of times, young catchers will get a strike and he'll move his glove and catches it into a ball, and the umpire has nothing to do but call it a ball. He can't honor that where it was a strike, even if it came over. The perception of what it is, the presentation of how you catch it. A lot of good catchers keep strikes.
You don't want to see guys stab at the ball or take pitches out of the strike zone. Tim McKay does a good job framing at the bottom of the zone, it looks like, as he takes a strike there. It's 1-1. He's at the plate now, 0 for 3 in this one. It was his bunt where he reached on a fielder's choice and the Ben McGrath throw that helped to set up the big inning for Lehigh in the 7th. They lead 6-3. The 1-1. That one down low, and the count now 2 balls and a strike to McKay.
Again, Lehigh continues to get into hitters' counts, and the reason I feel like they're in the 6-3 position they're in.
The 2-1 upstairs, and the count now 3-1 to McKay.
Because there's one thing of being patient and taking pitches. It's basically if you don't chase and you stay within your zone, naturally you'll get into hitters' counts.
3-1 from Wyckoff. Swing and a pop-up foul down the left field line, and that one will land out of play. See a good crowd that is gathering on the berm out in left field. A good crowd in the stands. Free admission here. So if you are in the Annapolis area and say you decided to bail on your Preakness party today, this would be a good place to be. It's a perfect day for baseball. Runner will be on the move here with 2 outs, and the 3-2 misses outside. McKay draws a 2-out walk, and this helps to turn the lineup over. So 2 outs, 2 ons. Here's James Blemming, 0 for 1. He's walked and reached and sacrificed in the 7th. A couple of really nice plays by Logan Knowles to stop him from being 2 for 2 with a pair of infield hits.
There comes the bottom of Lehigh's lineup again. Maybe not getting the base hit, so to speak, but they're extending the at-bats, extending the inning, as you said, turning over the lineup. That's important because you want to get as many at-bats for that top of the lineup as you can within 9 innings.
Runners at first and second, and the first pitch to Blemming, hit on the ground. Blue, he stumbles, will flip overhand to second. He really had trouble getting that ball out of his glove. Maybe hobbled a little bit as he's coming off the field, but the inning is over. Lehigh gets a couple on. They strand a pair. 7.5 in the books. Lehigh leads Navy 6-3 on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insider. Kevin Boswick on in the 8th. Starts Stephen Bourne with a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. 4, 5, and 6 due for Navy here in the last of the 8th. They trail 6-3. Bourne drove in the first Navy run in the first inning with an RBI single. As he takes high, it's 1-1.
You can already see a difference in Boswick. He's letting it go a little bit. In his warm-ups, his release point was out front a little bit more. He made the adjustment after going into the dugout and coming out here.
Boswick needed 22 pitches to get out of that jam in the 7th, and Bourne lines it right at the shortstop. Elson, the leadoff man, retired in the 8th. Always a big first out in an inning when you've got a lead late, especially when you're only up by a couple of runs. There's Connor Deneen. Deneen is 0 for 4. He's hit into a pair of them, lining into one where he smoked the ball right at Mike Garzillo, and they were able to double off Sean Trent. If you're just entertaining one, Navy jumped out to a 1-0 lead, but John Elson's 2-run double in the 4th gave Lehigh the lead, and Mike Garzillo, the 2-out grand slam in the 7th, made it 6-1 Lehigh. Navy got a couple of back in the 7th on an RBI single from Brad Borasek, and then Sean Trent, the player of the year, flew out to the warning track in left center as the potential tying run to end the 7th. And that's where we stand, as this one fouled off by Deneen out of play off to the left.
A little more velo on Boswick this inning, it looks like. The ball's coming out of his hand a little bit better, a little bit later life on that, just a tick late on that 1-0 fastball.
It really looked like he was searching for what it was, how he could get it to. You want it to be the same with the fastball and the breaking ball, but the 1-1 in the dirt, and the count now 2 balls and a strike.
He's moving around too, sure of himself as well, so I think you're absolutely right. He's just figured it out in between innings, and he's out here with a little bit more conviction on what he wants to throw and how he wants to throw it.
Boswick working from the windup, holds that glove in front of his face, and the 2-1 on its way. Swinging a pop-up, center field coming in. Pacioli, he's got a beat on it. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th. And it brings up Adrian Chinnery. Chinnery singled to lead off the 7th and came around to score on Borasek's 2-run single. He is 1 for 3 and 4 for 15 in the playoffs. Again, this game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Game 2 about a half an hour after the conclusion of this one. If Lehigh holds on and wins this afternoon, they will go to the NCAAs. If they split today, a championship game at 1 Eastern tomorrow. Breaking ball upstairs, it's 1-0. You know, it really seems like Boswick is struggling more with that breaking ball when he's trying to throw it for a strike than when he's just kind of letting it go to let guys chase it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And sometimes a lot of pitchers do that. They feel for it.
1-0. Hit in the air to center. Pacioli froze for a second, now going back. Makes the over-the-shoulder grab. A 1-2-3-8 for the Mountain Hawks and Boswick. We head to the 9th. Lehigh leading the Midshipmen 6-3 on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. We head to the 9th. Lehigh leading Navy 6-3. Third pitcher of the afternoon on for the Midshipmen. It's right-hander Sam Sorensen, one of their 2 ace relievers for the Naval Academy. Sorensen making his 24th appearance in 45 2/3 innings this year, a 2.17 ERA, 41 hits, 48 strikeouts, just 11 walks. Fastball slider combination, he has a very live arm, and he will have to go through the top of the Lehigh order as Navy tries to hold it down here, trailing 6-3 in the ninth.
If you got a live arm like him, you have the ability to miss within the strike zone and get away with it too. If you pitch a couple miles an hour slower, you may not have that luxury as a pitcher.
Sorensen struggled in game 1 of their series against Lafayette, and then in game 2 pitched very well. He was one of those pitchers that contributed to what was a 22 consecutive scoreless inning streak at one point for Navy. First pitch misses outside to Justin Pacioli. Pacioli is 1 for 3. He's reached base twice. Now 60 consecutive games where he has reached base safely dating back to last year. 1-0. Strike on the outside corner, it's 1-1.
He's got that little bit of a short delivery, short arm. That doesn't come from his ear, but it's a little quicker than the pitchers that Lehigh's seen so far today.
1-1 in the dirt. And the count now 2 balls and a strike.
But that's the key to a pitcher. If you're looking at it from a hitter, a pitcher needs to come out from the same arm slot with different pitches. It has to be the first 40 feet the same.
2-1 to Pacioli. That bounces in front of the plate, and the count now 3 balls and a strike to the leadoff man in the Lehigh order. Lehigh leading by 3. Busted it open in the 7th on Mike Garzillo's 2-out grand slam. On the very first pitch he saw. The 3-1 line to right. Going back is Deneen. He got a good jump, and he will spin to make the catch. Awkward little turn at the end, but he retires Pacioli to start the.
Again, going back to what we touched upon in the open, Mike, Lehigh's ability to backspin. A lot of Lehigh outfielders running back on balls this afternoon, and that's that continues to keep the confidence for the Lehigh hitters, knowing that they can drive the baseball.
Jason Nalesnik will stand in. He is 1 for 4, singled and scored back in the 4th. Takes a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1.
And with pitchers like this, they're hard fast, much in the same type of range mile an hour wise, so you're not going to get fooled too much timing wise.
1-0, swing and a miss. He was way out in front on that one.
Just the depth of the pitch might give you some trouble like we just saw right there. That was a tremendous breaking ball.
0-2 is the count on Nalesnik. Swinging a bouncer to second, backing up on it. Borisic will throw to first. 2 up, 2 down here in the 9th, and here's Garzillo. Mike Garzillo has had a heck of a day. 3 for 4 with a grand slam in the 7th. He's doubled and singled, so he is a triple. By the way, in case you're wondering, if you're keeping track, he does have 2 triples on the year, and he runs extremely well. It's a good ballpark for triples. We saw 3 of them for the Naval Academy last week. 6-3, Lehigh leads top 9. Sorensen's first pitch in the dirt in front of the plate. It's 1-0. Garzillo doubled on an off-speed pitch in the 1st into the left field corner. He flied to deep left where Sean Trent made a play at the wall in the 6th, and then that game-changing grand slam in the 7th. Takes low and count now 2-0. And you think he's going to be trying to hit a triple or a multi-homer game right here, 2-0?
It'll be interesting to ask him post-game because some guys don't even in the game and some guys know exactly where they're at.
2-0. That went inside in the count now 3 balls and no strike to Garzillo.
I played one year with a guy that had no idea he hit a cycle until he actually did it, and everybody was applauding, and he hit it just a simple single. Had no idea.
3-0, swing and a bouncer, just foul past third. Garzillo swinging 3-0.
Why not?
He's your power source, trying to get into scoring position any way you can, right? Whether it's a double, single, a stolen base.
Take advantage of your hot, pretty good at the plate.
This is his 22nd multi-hit game of the season. 3-1 the count. The pitch from Sorensen. Swinging a bomb deep to left, way back, long gone. Mike Garzillo just cleared the 2nd fence in left center field. His 2nd monster home run of this game, and Lehigh has pushed the lead to 7-3.
Good thing they brought him on the bus ride down from Lehigh. Get him in positive counts, 3-1 fastball, getting the head out. And like you said, cleared the 2nd fence. Let's take a look at this again. Fastball, 3-1 count. middle in, get the head out, back spun it over the second fence. That's no short.
And he just missed a home run in the one at bat that he was retired. It chased Sean Trent to the fence. Now Trent reached up. I don't think it would have been a home run. He caught it at the top of the fence. He's had some good swings as Patrick Donnelly lines a base hit to right. And the rally continues for Lehigh, now up 4. What a show. Mike Garzillo now with back-to-back multi-hit games in these playoffs. You know, he was 0 for 8 in the first 2 games against Holy Cross, and now the last 2 games, 2 homers, 2 for 4 performance against Holy Cross in Game 3 in the decisive game there, and now 4 for 5 with a pair of homers today. He's got a dozen on the season and his first 4-hit game of the year. Here's John Elson. Elson takes a strike. It's 0-1. Elson had a huge 2-run double to right center that gave Lehigh a lead in the 4th. It's a lead they haven't relinquished. Stretching the pitch in the dirt. Good stop by Chinnery again. That slider keeps bouncing well in front of the plate for Sorensen.
Yeah, Chinnery's doing it just all he can behind the plate to keep this game within reach for Navy here with 2 outs. But, you know, with Coach Leary, doesn't matter who comes up. It seems like a different guy every day.
It's a strike on the outside corner, and the count now 1-2 to Elson.
You can definitely feel the momentum in Lehigh's favor. Obviously, just again, we touched upon earlier with the later innings. These are obviously the important innings, and to keep the momentum up is key.
1-2 hit in the air to center. Breaking back was Curry. Now coming in, he makes the catch, and the inning is over. But Mike Garzillo's second home run of the game has given Lehigh a key tack-on run. We head to the last of the 9th. The Mountain Hawks 3 outs away from winning Game 1 of the Patriot League Baseball Championship on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Last chance for Navy. They trail 7-3 in the bottom of the 9th. Ben McGrath, the number 7 hitter, to lead things off for the midshipmen. And the first pitch from Kevin Boswick is a strike down the outside corner. It's 0-1. 7, 10, and 3. 7 left on base for Lehigh. 3, 6, and 1. 6 left for Navy. McGrath, a pair of hits today. Switch hitting first baseman, batting left-handed all day, takes it outside, and it's 1-1.
Boswick just has to throw strikes, Mike. He just has to pound the zone. He's got to get these Navy hitters to be aggressive and swing and rely on your defense.
The 1-1 outside, the count now 2 balls and a strike to McGrath.
Because the worst thing you want to do here is obviously walk the leadoff hitter. You don't want to put anybody on that's not supposed to be on there or did not earn the right to get on there.
Boswick came in the 7th with a couple of men on. He allowed those inherited runners to score as McGrath hits it fair inside the bag at third and down towards the corner. Fleming over to get it. McGrath into second, his 3rd hit of the game and his 4th extra base hit of the playoffs. Now Navy in business, and what we saw in that inning was Boswick really struggled from the stretch. So let's see if he has that straight now after going from the windup for a little while.
That's a great point. McGrath did a great job taking the pitch where it was and sneaking it down the line there for a double. That's a great job. And not trying to do too much with that, just putting a good swing on a pitch on the outer half.
Pinch hitter here is one of the guys who plays, works in a DH for the Naval Academy. It's Leland Sale, right-handed hitter, to pinch hit for Knowles. Navy trailing 7-3 with a leadoff man on. Sale takes a breaking ball strike. It's 0-1. Sale had a very, very big semifinal series. He was 5 for 11 with 4 runs scored and 5 RBI. And you know, he's kind of been platooning at the DH spot with Bourne, but you wondered if he had been so hot whether or not he would be in the lineup. He's hitting here as he chases that breaking ball. It's 0-2.
Coach Castellopoulos, he's giving himself an opportunity to use his maybe one weapon, or his best weapon, I should say, even better, off the bench. What better way here in the bottom of the 9th when you need some runs.
Grath led off with a double. He's at second. Navy trailing by 4. The pitch. This ball just off the plate. And the count 1-2.
It's a tough pitch to take right there in this situation, but good eye, and the umpire agreed with him.
Boswick gets a sign. Check of the runner, and the 1-2 on its way. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Foul tip actually into the glove of McKay. And that's the first out here in the Navy ninth.
Anytime that you come off the bench as a pinch hitter, it's tough. I did that towards the latter part of my career. It's tough. You got to be able to be in the game and try to stay with it. But you know what? The difference I see here, even right there with Boswick, is he's getting that feel for that breaking ball. He's getting that good depth on it. We talked about. And now he's able to get the guys with some swing and miss.
Here's Travis Blue. He walked as part of that Navy rally in the 7th when they plated a couple. Takes the ball up high. It's 1-0.
And to your point, right there, there's the breaking ball. He tries to get me over breaking ball, and you said it earlier. That's not where he makes his money or makes his living here. He's got to use that maybe later in the count. Throw a fastball inside on these guys, get them off, and then with the breaking ball down the way.
Foul away. It's 1-1.
Don't have that. I mean, as pitchers understanding how to pitch, and he does. He absolutely does. His track record speaks for itself. But you know, in this case right here, maybe bag the get me over breaking ball, hard in, and then set something up soft away.
Fouls that one back as that got in on his hands a little bit, and it's now 1-2 to the number 9 hitter in the Navy order.
Here's your opportunity. Might have that. See what he goes to here with a man on second, but you know, again, as a hitter, you need to look to the middle of the field here with a man on second, 1 out. Keep yourself on the baseball longer, stay to the big part of the field, try to stay away from the yank.
Blue's a pretty selective hitter too, led the conference in walks, hits that breaking ball to the whole left side. Elson gobbles it up, throws across, not in time. And now Navy really has something brewing here as they've turned the lineup over in the 9th. First and second, 1 out. Here's Robbie Curry.
Great example there. Stayed up the middle of the field. He didn't cap the ball. Got to shortstop. I thought that Elson, he could have done a better job backhanding that ball, coming through it to get himself. He caught that ball flat-footed, was back on his heels, wasn't able to get anything on the throw.
You know, it's almost like he was expecting Donnelly to cut it off. Donnelly has very good range at third base. And it was just kind of in an in-between spot. It would have been a very tough play for Donnelly to make and then throw across his body as well as Blue runs. And now Curry takes a breaking ball low. It's 1-0. Curry, with the bases loaded in the 7th, popped out. He is 0 for 3 with a walk, and he scored a run. But again, the more hitters that come to the plate for Navy, the better chance that you're going to see Sean Trent, the player of the year again. So these next 2 hitters critical for Boswick and Lehigh. Ball 2 inside, and Curry's in the driver's seat, 2-0. 7-3 the score, Lehigh leading last in the 9th.
And here you're in a 2-0 count as a hitter. Again, you got to get this ball close to you because you don't want to chase anything higher outside and make accident contact, as I like to say, and get yourself into a double play. But get the ball close to you, something you can drive.
2-0. Strike on the inside corner. Looked like he missed his spot, but got the strike on the inner third. It's 2-1.
And who knows if coach had a take sign on there, that could have been. Because that was a pretty good pitch to be able to get the head out on.
But you need one more base runner here, whether it's him or Borisek. You need somebody to get on. Really, it doesn't matter until you get that 4th man up to the plate. There's a strike, and it's 2-2. And Curry is a leadoff guy, certainly used to taking pitches, getting on base. Came in today with a 400 on-base percentage on the year. He's got a little bit of pop, 7 triples. He runs extremely well. Infield to double play depth up the middle. Set in the pitch, swinging a pop-up, right center field. Coming over is Nalesnik. He will make the catch, and that is out number 2.
Oswick's still having trouble with that feel. It's just inconsistent. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. He got away with one there. He hung that and got it out to fly out to right field.
Looks like we have a defensive change at third base. We were talking earlier about Donnelly being there. That's Mackie Price, who is in at third base now. We saw him take some ground balls over there. Little third baseman, very good defender. 2 outs, runners at first and second. 7-3 the score, Lehigh leading. Here's Borisek. Borisek takes a strike, it's 0-1. In the 7th, he had a big 2-run single that cut Lehigh's lead to 3 at that point, and it brought Sean Trent to the plate as the tying run. Can he do that again here? Borisek 1 for 3 with a walk. Takes a breaking ball strike, and now Navy down to its final strike. 0-2.
Looked like he wanted to pull the trigger on that, Borisek did, but he ended up taking it, obviously. But it's You got to trust what your eyes see. If your eyes tell you to hit, you got to let it go.
Lehigh fans on their feet on the first base side. Nothing in two the count. 2 outs. Last of the ninth. The pitch in the dirt, and it gets away from McKay, and the runners will move up 90 feet.
Yeah, McKay has done a great job all day, but unfortunately that got through him to the backstop, allowing the runners to move up to second and third. And as a catcher, obviously he doesn't feel so good about that, but that's why it's imperative that you need to be able to be on the lookout at all times, expect the ball in the dirt at all times.
You know, those runners really don't matter unless they kind of score, so you wonder if with second and third now it allows Boswick to go back from more of a windup. Since there is nobody to move ahead, you might as well if you feel more comfortable. He's going to work from the stretch here. 1 and 2 the count. Borisic waits, the pitch. Breaking ball hit foul past first. He was all over that one.
Yeah, he was looking for that. He was looking for it, and then he doesn't want to throw it in the dirt either, so you're probably going to get that ball elevated like he did there. He just missed his opportunity.
Sean Trent, the player of the year in the Patriot League, waiting in the on-deck circle, hoping for a chance. He flew out to the warning track as the potential tying run in the 7th, hoping for one more shot. The 1-2 inside, and the count now 2 and 2 to Borisic. McGrath is at third. Travis Blue is at second. First base is open, but you would not want to put Borisic on here.
Borisic putting get a nice little at-bat right now.
Stretch, and the pitch on its way. Swing and a miss! Got him on strikes, ball game over, and Lehigh has defeated the United States Naval Academy 7-3 in Game 1 of the championship. One more win, and the Mountain Hawks will go to the NCAAs for the first time since 2006. The totals and a recap coming up in a moment as Lehigh wins Game 1 on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Mike Farron, Kevin Wilson back at Terwilliger Brothers Field at Max Bishop Stadium, and Lehigh wins the first game of the best of 3 Patriot League Baseball Championships 7-3. The totals for Lehigh: 7 runs, 10 hits, 3 errors, 7 left on base. For the United States Naval Academy, 3 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. They left 8 men on base. Navy got the lead on an RBI single by Stephen Bourne in the first. Lehigh gained the lead in the fourth on a 2-run double from John Elson, but the big inning was the 7th. And Kevin, one of the big plays in this was the grand slam from Mike Garzillo you see here over the scoreboard in left center field.
We talked about the power potential of this Lehigh lineup, and it showed. Garzillo basically did it all on his own today, getting some hitters counts, and he got pitches he could drive, and backspin the ball at this park, and this second one here over the second fence. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah, Garzillo on the day, 4 hits in 5 trips, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. He also had a double, so it finishes a triple short of the cycle. That 7th inning, a big spot, a big error in there for the Naval Academy that helped lead to that, and Lehigh wins 7-3. Game 2 coming up in a little less than half an hour. The pitching matchup in that one, Nick Stevens, who went the distance with a complete game against Holy Cross in the clincher of the semifinals for Lehigh, against George Coughlin. Coughlin went the distance in a complete game shutout in the clincher for Navy in their semifinal win over Lafayette. Game 2 coming up. For Kevin Wilson, I'm Mike Farron. We'll be back at Max Bishop Stadium in Annapolis in a couple of minutes for Game 2 of the Patriot League Championship on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders.